ready when you are. Thank you.
Oh, take your time. No, thank you. Sorry, Khalid, you had this one? Oh. Take that.
You don't want it?
If
I'll take
it's-
you guys' part.
Can I pause for a second? Max, I adjusted this camera this morning. Can you see it's a little fuzzy? It has to be adjusted, but I'm not gonna get on that here right now and do it. Unless I need to.
It's fine.
It's fine? Okay.
I don't think we need 4,000 resolution.
It is, it's a blurry, but it'll be all right.
All right. What's the
725.
All right, good evening. I call this meeting of Hamtramck City Council to order. Today is July 25th, 2023, and it's 7:03. Would the clerk call the rules, please?
Councilman Rafai,
Present.
Councilman Musa,
Present.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Present.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Al-Samiri.
Yeah, present.
Mr. Mayor is present. Councilman Hassan is not present. Mr. Mayor, we have quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance
to the
flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I think my speaker
Speaker.
Turn it on.
I did. I tried to.
It's- Yeah, there it is.
All right. Do we have any community announcements?
Yes, you, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Councilman Rafai.
To remind everyone regarding the victory of the Hamtramck City football team, that they won at the 4th Annual Yemeni Community Championship in Memphis, Tennessee. This is the second time they won this championship. The first one was in the state of Alabama. The second time they won it 2 days ago in Memphis, Tennessee. I want to thank all the organizers that hosted this tournament in Memphis, Tennessee by Ibrahim al-Muntasir and all the coaches and the players that played. Around, I think, 8 to 12 teams that have played that tournament. So Hamtramck actually
12
won the
teams.
championship, 12, right?
12 teams, yeah.
We're proud of the team. They actually are from Hamtramck. They've been in Hamtramck for many years. This team been active for at least 15 years, I remember. So now they're finalized to be a soccer club, where now they have teenagers and kids playing for the football. We're happy that they won. They presented Hamtramck well, so they came back with the championship. We're all proud of them. Hopefully, we will present a certificate today, right? Today, during
and,
the.
and then they have an event tomorrow, like a parade around the city. It's gonna be at 6 o'clock, and dinner at 7 o'clock.
So if anybody wants to attend that party that they're gonna start at the parking lot in Holbrook and JC, and then from there we'll drive around the city with the team and all the coaches, and then head back to Keyworth, and then from Keyworth will be a small little dinner for these championships. Thank you.
So should we present the certificate to them now or later?
If you'd like, Mr. Mayor, I had a few updates too, so you're.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and finish the updates.
Okay, so as we know, this is construction season. The work on KNIF continues. We appreciate everyone's patience on that. We know it's very frustrating to be interrupted, but the end product will be a nice brand new street and sidewalk, so bear with us. One of our contractors has just fired up. We have about 70 different locations in the city that we're doing miscellaneous repairs on. That includes missing sidewalks, various street repairs, and things that we've fixed over the past year. This contractor usually comes in only once or twice a year and kind of blitzes the city and does all these repairs. These are the ones that have been frustrating everyone over the year, that everyone's been patiently waiting and reaching out to us for. Well, they're here now and they're working. We also anticipate doing the North Kniff Alley between Joseph Campo and Mitchell. We hope that's going to be starting mid-August. The East Joseph Campo Alley between Kniff and Comer will also be mid-August. The East Joseph Campo Alley between Roosevelt and Goodson, mid-August. And then we also have multiple street repavings scheduled coming up. Actually, our first new business item is to extend a contract to be able to fire up our paver and get those done as well. If someone wanted to look forward on to the further resolution, they could see a list of streets, but I suspect we're also going to talk about that later with council. And lastly, our goal, it's very ambitious, but we're hoping to get upwards of 500 lead service lines done this year. So Hamtramck Mutual Aid is looking for volunteers. All the information can be found on community announcements. And there was also a media advisory from the Hamtramck Parks Conservancy looking for volunteers for the Kaboom build-out, which, as we know, is the playscape over at Veterans in the back. They were there all day today working on it, and I anticipate them to do it throughout the week, but particularly they're looking for volunteers for this Friday from 8 to 2 with a ribbon cutting at 2:30. All the information, if anyone wants to volunteer, is on our board docs here and our community announcements. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I think there are more members of the soccer team coming on the way, right? Logan? Are there more people coming or no?
Yes.
So we'll do the presentations and then
Excuse me.
present the certificate to them later on.
Excuse me, Mayor. When we add the black alley, we missing one black alley between Gallagher and Cherist. That's we have a schedule like 2 years. Between Gallagher and Cherist, behind the supermarket, Holbrook Market.
That is on the list of important ones. We have a larger list.
But
of
should
ones
be
we're gonna get right
should be scheduled first with the list in that one. We didn't move it. They moved it couple times.
Okay.
We need to add this one for this project this year.
We can certainly see what we can do, Councilman.
Okay.
We can talk offline and see what we can do.
All right, thank you. Any other announcements?
No, sir.
All right, we'll move to proclamation, recognitions, and presentations, and we'll start with presentation on parking revenues.
Mr. Mayor, I have our controller here with us today with a short presentation. It's just an overview of the performance of the parking meters and revenue over the past year or so. We'll have a quick PowerPoint up on the screen as well when Madam Clerk puts it up.
Even if we tried, then I don't think that's
City controller, I just had it open. Presentation on parking reservation.
As you all know, we switched to MPS sometime in August of 2019 to, regulate our parking activity in the city. We have 292 meter spaces which are being monitored by meters and parking sticks in the city. We have about 33 safety sticks. There is a mobile app which people can use to pay for the parking. All of the parking meters and everything were installed by MPS. And since we went live in September of 2021, 400,000 plus parking sessions have been processed by the meters. And 90,000 plus parking violations have been done through the system. Now this is a 7-day, average. As you can see, the average is picking up, but still below the pre-pandemic levels in the past. We're looking at, about 12 to 1,300 sessions per week.
Looks like it's kind of
Next
level
page.
off.
Yeah, it's picking up, but it's, we haven't reached the level that we saw before pandemic. You have to keep in mind that, we did make a few changes in the ordinance. We reduced the timings, from Monday through Saturday, from 8 in the morning to 6 So that also negatively affected our revenues. Next page. Also, we reduced enforcement in December to observe for the holiday season. And subsequently this year, we also introduced that during the Eid holidays. So this is the average revenue that we're looking at on a monthly basis. December, as you can see in this, is the lowest. And we didn't have really any, enforcement during that month. But subsequently, our revenue increased, and then a couple of months, like April and June, you'd see lower because of the Eid holidays. This is the net operating income for the parking revenues, parking activity. And again, we are looking at close to, average 25,000–26,000 per month on as far as this whole year is concerned, from July to August, July to June. You can see the variability depending on the different months, the activity going on. One of the things that we have is that a lot of the expenses are borne by MPS in terms of credit card processing fees and some of the other fees, connectivity fees. So those are all borne by it. And what this reflects is the net revenue that the city receives. Right now, we're looking at close to, next page, about around 32,000 dollars per month on an incremental basis for the city. Before we implemented MPS, our average revenue was around 7,000. So this is a significant increase in terms of revenue for the city since we have implemented this whole scheme. So that's a short presentation just to show you, we have a very steady revenue scheme from here, and it has come down since the pandemic, but there are various reasons. Some is the lower business activity, the other is the change in ordinance, and a little bit of break during the holiday season.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the 32,000, is that our cut?
32,000, yes.
That's our cut monthly
That's our
for each month,
cut.
even though with the winter,
Yeah.
3 days and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it fluctuates.
it fluctuates.
Yeah, I know,
but
I'm
that's
just-
an average, that's an
yeah.
average.
Thank you.
That'd be
So how frequent do we get paid? Because I don't see it in many of the invoices, like, you can review like.
We don't pay them every month. What the contract that we have is the revenues process, and it comes through the court. So court sends us the revenue, and then MPS, whatever they collect through their system. So it's a combination of the fees that we collect through the apps, the meters, and then credit cards, and then the tickets that people come and pay to the court.
Yeah,
So-
we also collect the coins.
Yeah.
We collect all the coins. We collect all the revenue from the citations issued. So we actually end up cutting a check to them because we have the bulk of the finances.
We receive most of the money, and then whatever expenses that they bear for this activity, then we make those payments. So those payments, we generally make them, we try to make them as we get their invoices, but sometimes we pay them like 2 or 3 months together. So that's why you don't see it every month, payment to MPS, but we try to process it as their invoices come in.
We've also began to get a lot more steady with it too. I mean, the first year or so was really shaky on sorting out a lot of the particulars. I mean, we changed things on it. We still were bickering with them a little bit on what they should get and shouldn't get. And it finally, when everything leveled off, now it's sort of fallen into a routine on it. So I do anticipate it being a little bit more regular now.
Like, for example, their invoice for May came in late. So we haven't paid the May invoice, we're waiting for the June. We've closed the June for them, and so we are going to make both these payments together.
Mr. Chair, one more question.
Go ahead.
And now, this is our second year we're into with these meters. Are people, this income that we're getting, is it more through violations, or people now are complying and knowing how to use the machine?
I mean,
Which one varies more?
It's a combination, you know, because violations get noticed through the parking meters and the cameras that are there. But a lot of the revenue comes in because people,
Okay,
when they're parking,
that's my, okay.
you know, they are paying it.
Okay. So now, that means people are used to now paying,
Yeah, because
using the machine now.
I think,
It's the frustration, I mean, not that there isn't still frustration, because there is, but I think it's died down significantly. I think people are adapting to it, learning to use it. I think more people are using the apps. I mean, it's just becoming more of a norm.
right,
We're always going to have some sort of issues, because, you know, we'll get a new user in, or someone that just doesn't understand it, but we do our best to try and help them when we can, so.
and I think the more methods that people have available to them to make the payments, like credit cards, like the app, you know, like coins, you know, so it'll become easier, and you know, people will get familiar with how to use them.
Right. Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
So, I know we adjusted down the road that for the business owners to buy yearly or annually meters. Did they come through? Like, was it helpful to any business owner?
It was, yeah, we've known, it was, not only was it helpful for the business owners, because they have to come in monthly, it helped our
Yeah.
administration a lot too, because we weren't processing everything every month. It's just a one shot, you're good for the year, come see us in
Yeah.
a year.
Okay.
And it's not only for businesses, for anybody.
Anybody, it's just goes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
so you don't have the specific number, how much you're getting from the, like,
No, I don't
Getting
have a
tickets
I-
for-
Right, I don't have a breakdown of that, but yes, I can get that.
Yeah. Councilman, if anyone has like a specific question, and this was meant to be a brief overview to kind of show you the performance of it, but if there's specific questions you have, if you want to just give them to me, we're more than happy to get you exactly what you want.
okay, sure.
All right. In the meantime, I still get some emails from visitors who gets violations, and they just decide not to visit us anymore. I get that
We
frequently.
got a lot.
If they love enough, they will visit us again.
Yeah, no, I think the other thing is, if you notice, if you go to any other city, these parking meters are there, so you can't avoid them anymore, you know, and the thing that we have, and a lot of the cities are doing the same thing, is that in the evening, parking is free, you know, on Sundays, parking is free, so things like that, you know, it just facilitates the users.
Sorry, take that.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
It's probably the folks in the.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, is he,
Toby, are they all here?
Yeah, there are a lot of kids out there.
That's what it is.
so let's do the second presentation for MERS,
Mars, let's get to
and
the
then
Mars.
we present the certificate to the team.
Mr. Mayor, we have, well, a number of people on this one, and primarily one of our contractors, Colleen, it's the mask. Here, incognito there. I have Colleen here to help present with this, along with obviously Amir and Mashana, whole team basically kind of worked on this one. So, Colleen, if you want to come up, we're going to put you up on the screen.
Okay,
This is a presentation.
hi.
Hello.
I'm very excited to be here and to meet all of you. One of my favorite things is walking in through that park. Man, I love that park. All those kids are always out there. Are you putting us up?
Yep, I got it.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Show your face before I
Should be
switch
noted too
over.
that this presentation ties into at least 4 of the resolutions in new business.
So, this is predominantly, so one of the reasons I'm excited to be here tonight is because on the agenda, you are being presented with a number of items that are going to solve some compliance issues that we've had on the third floor, compliance issues that have been brought up in audits, compliance issues that we haven't been audited on yet. And so there's a lot of items here that will take care of those compliance issues for you. And one of them, one of them is the pension plan design. And so I've been working very closely with HR on this, and take it away.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council. We're very pleased with this plan that we have. But anyway, the pension plan introduction and the role of Human Resources Department is to find talent for the city of Hamtramck. There are several issues and current issues with non-union pension plan design that we currently have. And one of them is the inconsistency in our pension plans. The next one is compliance with MERS and the IRS rules. Thirdly, an equitable pension plan design for all employees. And then lastly, the lack of affordability for both the employer and the employee. And the solution that we are proposing is a new pension plan that is both affordable for the employee and the employer, and it will address our compliance issues. We are grossly negligent in meeting the terms of MERS, and it will address the issues overall in the city.
So I'm going to, you can move things. So I'm going to just take you through a little bit of a background of what pension plans are. So you are an employer. You are an employer of a number of employees, and employers have certain obligations to those employees, and they have certain objectives when they're trying to bring those employees in. And having a good retirement plan helps with meeting the objectives, right? And also meeting some of your responsibilities as an employer. So there are 4 primary goals when you look at establishing retirement plans. They have to be fiscally sustainable. So I don't know if how long you've all been in government, but one of the problems we have in the state of Michigan, we have it in a number of states in the country, is that the pension plans that were offered to employees were not fiscally sustainable. And so we have huge unfunded liabilities. You have a huge unfunded liability in Hamtramck. We have huge unfunded liabilities everywhere. And so one of these objectives is that really these plans need to be fiscally sustainable. And MERS is the Michigan Employees Retirement System. It is a governmental entity that helps us administer our plans. And so they were actually part of the problem, in my humble opinion. But they have now taken a couple steps, and one of the steps that they say is that they won't let you open a new plan, open a new division, if it isn't less expensive than the one that you were offering before, and if your normal cost can't be sustained. So normal cost means a cost that's going to cost you this year for that employee to deposit into the account so that it will sustain them when they retire. So fiscal sustainability is absolute key, and it is the #1 objective. The second one is that we want to assist and partner with these employees. We don't want them to leave employment with the city of Hamtramck and not be able to afford to put food on their table when they're in retirement. The third objective is to attract and retain talent. Now, in the state of Michigan right now, well, it could be national, I don't know, we're at less than 4% employment, which means we don't have enough employees. And so getting the employees to walk in the door, we need to make it attractive for them. So the fourth and final goal of these retirement plans is that we can meet the compliance requirements. We can't make them so complicated that the staff cannot maintain the compliance requirements. if you could move to the next. Okay, so those are our 4 goals. Oh, I must have done something fancy there. Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, all right. At this particular moment, the non-union pension plans fail 3 of the 4 objectives. You do not assist and partner with your employees. In some cases, your employees have no retirement plan whatsoever. They are not enrolled in anything. In others, the entire cost of that plan is on the employee. We are not attracting or retaining talent because some of the plans you have a 10-year vesting. There is no one walking out of college who's interested in a 10-year vesting. We are in a different world than when these things were established in the 1950s. Young people come out and they expect to move. And then we are not meeting our compliance requirements. Some of the plans you have were just implemented when you were under an emergency manager, and emergency managers don't fully always understand the pension plan designs. So the pension plans that you have right now, the city is struggling to meet the compliance requirements. So we're failing 3 of 4 objectives. It's not really a good place to be. You wanna
Well,
move
it's
to-
just that there was too much
It's like
distraction.
we just have
Your-
people coming
oh,
in.
Your
so-
presentation's
you're fine.
important, and I don't want the distraction to.
Do you want me to wait?
No, please
No, you
continue,
go.
Colleen.
You're okay.
I can wait.
No, you
No, no, no,
continue.
please.
Okay, I'll just
Where is
talk louder. Okay.
Sure, right.
Can you move to the next one? Okay, so I want to explain to you some of the different types of pension plans. The one that we're proposing to you tonight is called a defined benefit plan. And what a defined benefit plan means is that we've said there's a formula that will go in play, and when the employee retires, they know exactly how much they're going to receive every month. So it's called, we're defining the benefit that they're walking out the door with. Another pension plan design is a defined contribution. Now, I don't know if you all work in the private sector, but 401ks, those are defined contributions. So defined contribution says, we are defining the amount we put in regardless of what you come out with. So we're defining the amount you put in, and if that goes up or down, or you lose you lose your shirt and you can't afford to put food on the table, the entire risk is on you as an employee. So a defined benefit plan kind of shares the risk. We're not even talking about cash balance plans. So a hybrid plan is a combination of a defined benefit and defined contribution. And what we're proposing to you tonight is a defined benefit plan that frees up enough money for the employee to then put some of their own money away in retirement. So we're not giving them a Cadillac here. We're giving them a base bare minimum, but something, right? We're giving them something, and we're freeing up a little bit of money out of their paycheck. They still need to save on their own. So they can put it in a traditional IRA, which is very similar to a defined contribution plan, right? That's what it is. So that's our objective here. Can you move to the next one? Okay, so for everybody who's listening, who thinks they're gonna retire at some point, the average person is expected to need 80% of your current wage. So when you talk to your investment advisor, make sure that you are moving toward the fact that you will have 80% in your retirement. Social Security, for those who are enrolled in Social Security, can be expected to cover approximately 36% of that. For Social Security, the employee contributes 6.2% and the employer contributes 6.2%. So that is a Social Security law, right? All employers who have employees in Social Security, you are required to pay 6.2%. That is a defined benefit plan, right? So when you're done working, you know exactly what you're gonna get from Social Security. So the remaining 44% that you need in order to retire and maintain somewhat of a standard of living, the 44% has to come from what you individually do and what your employer assists you with. So that's why it is one of the key goals of pension plan designs, right? Your employees have to come up with the remaining 44%. So here's how a defined benefit plan works. The defined benefit plan under MERS, which the city of Hamtramck participates with, has 3 components that we use to determine what are you gonna walk out the door with. We're going to multiply your years of service times your final average compensation, and we're gonna multiply that by a benefit multiplier. The majority of Hamtramck plans have a 2% benefit multiplier. That is a nice multiplier, right? It's not a Cadillac. We're not talking about Cadillacs here. So that's how we figure out what it's gonna cost. And then we get an actuarial analysis every year that tells us, did they earn money? Did they make money on the investments? They project out what this is gonna cost for the life of the employment of that individual. So right now, we have 3 plans here for the non-union employees. We're proposing to close all of those and open a single plan that everybody will be in. Every non-union employee of yours this is going to be the plan we offer them. And you'll notice, one of the things we did, is this a little thing?
No, that's the mic.
Is there a little pointer?
No.
Oh,
Okay, so see the normal retirement age here of 55? That's a pretty low retirement age for administrative groups. So we stepped the retirement age up to 60. 55 is a retirement age that we normally see for public safety, right? You can't be a policeman and a fireman, which is very physically taxing, till you're 60 years old. So there was no reason for the retirement age to be down here at 55. By stepping the retirement age up to 60, we have dramatically reduced the cost of this plan. We also changed the vesting from 10 years to 5. We changed the vesting to 5 years because that is what's going to attract 2 groups of employees. One are your recently retired who aren't completely ready to walk out of the workforce, but they're going to walk in here with a lot of knowledge. You actually have 2 of those people on the 3rd floor. One is your HR director and the other one is your CFO controller. The other group that this attracts are the young people who we really want to get walking in the door here, right? If you tell them that they're going to have a pension in 10 years, it means absolutely nothing to them. 5 years though, if we tell them 5 years, then it's worth our training, right? We can train them and get everything we can out of them, and they will stick for 5 years. So those are the 2 big changes that we've made to the proposed plan design. And is there another? Okay, you can move to the next slide. Okay, so this new plan design now meets all 4 of your goals. From compliance requirements, it's easy. If you're non-union, you are going in this plan. You don't have a choice. This is your plan. So we know we've met the compliance, right? Because if you have a pension plan, you are supposed to enroll everyone in there. It helps you attract and retain the talent we just talked about. It is an assistance and partner with the employees. A 3% contribution is affordable for them, still leaves them free to deposit in other retirement areas. So there's 2, we broke this down, we talked to the court at the request of the CFO, and the court has signed on to this plan. It will cost the court, who generates their own income, $23,490. It will cost the city to address all the new hires and then take a step into making it more equitable with some of those current plans. We can't move employees out of there, but they're contributing more money. You know, what we're doing is we're equalizing the employer cost across all your plans. balance, right? So whatever the employer cost is, we equalized that, and then the difference is what the employee has to come up with. So this proposed plan meets all these goals. We're very excited about it. And I think we're gonna hand it off to Ms. Shana, and then we'll close with any questions.
Thank you, Colleen. So in conclusion, the issues, some of the employees, as Colleen stated, are not enrolled in any plan at all. The second one is inconsistent application of the plan. We are not enrolling our employees in the appropriate plan, and we have allowed some employees to elect not to enroll in the defined benefit plan. The next one is non-compliance with MERS and the IRS rule. It will fix our non-compliance issue. And then it will also address our enrollment issues, as I spoke to, allowing some employees the option to not join the defined benefit plan that we already have. The solution that we have came up with is that the city has to offer a consistent pension plan for their non-union employees, and there can be no opting out. An employee cannot opt to say, they don't want to participate in the pension plan. The lower plan design cost is more affordable compared to the existing defined benefit plans that the city currently has. They will correct the inconsistencies and the errors and also the compliance issues that Colleen and I both spoke about. This new plan has been verified and approved by MERS. We were in constant contact with MERS, and they advised us on the particulars and what we needed for this new plan. And then lastly, the city's, the 31st District Court also wants to adopt in this plan. We took this plan to the judge, and she also is on board with this new plan. Thank you for your time, and now we will take any questions.
Can we bring Amir?
Amir up, yes, definitely, we need Amir,
Sure.
our finance guy.
So, can we proceed with the questions, or you?
Yes.
Okay. So I know several years ago they changed the plan to maybe the current situation that we have now.
Right.
So can you explain why they did? Was it because there was a lot of burden on the city, or what? And why did we decide now to change it to this?
So, in short, we've had a couple emergency managers over the years. We've had all kinds of problems with really lucrative plans in the past that are nothing near this. I mean, we have people, I'd say, getting wealthy in retirement at the courtesy of Hamtramck, but those are all gone, long gone. Emergency managers came in and kind of took, I'd say, an overzealous stance on this, setting up things with huge contributions for employees and basically just gutting what we had. Plus, it left us with a disparagement amongst the employees of everyone's in all kinds of different things. We have 3 different plans open right now. Plus, if you want to say a 4th, we've got people that aren't even in a plan. So our goal is basically to standardize this, get rid of all the other stuff, and have one sustainable plan that works actually better for the city in the long run and better for the employee currently, for many reasons.
And did you ask how the errors were found? What was your last question that you asked?
I mean, why now we are deciding to switch to this plan?
Oh,
So now you have an HR director who has some experience, and I have a lot of experience. And so your previous HR director was learning her job, right? So the compliance issues have been of great concern to me. And Ms. Shana also jumped right on that. We've had several meetings with MERS to say, we don't even understand this, and they said, we don't even understand it. We don't know what you guys did over here.
it was very, very confusing to implement the plan, being that HR is in charge with submitting the monthly reports and the employee contribution. And I had the hardest time trying to understand how the plans even work. So if you can't understand it, you can't administer it, right? So, you know, we had to call MERS, and then thank God Colleen was a consultant, and I couldn't understand what the plans were doing because people were everywhere. And then I had people that weren't even enrolled. So that's why we, you know, delved in and decided that now is the time to fix our compliant issues that have been neglected for a few years.
Basically, put, we're fixing things. I mean, as we discover things, we're trying to fix them. I mean, we have all kinds of issues in this area, and there's other issues throughout City Hall, and as we discover them, we're repairing them and redoing them. So,
Sure.
this is a gap in something we need to repair, and we bring it before you to clean it up.
It's gonna be
So, on the-
obligatory for.
I'm sorry, Councilman. So, on the long term, how is it gonna affect our budget? Because now 1/3 of our budget goes for the pension
Better.
obligations.
Better, we're changing the plan from 55 retirement to 60, which
That's-
means we're not on the hook till later in life.
I think, as far as the budget is concerned, this plan is more affordable for the city compared to what we have previously. If we try to enroll these employees in the previous plans, it'll cost the city more. So that's why, you know, we decided to come up with a new division, increase the age to 60 to make it more affordable for the city and make it more attractive for the employees. So that is why this is a more affordable plan in the long run for the city.
MERS would not let us do this if it was a more lucrative plan than we had.
If this plan was more lucrative and more expensive than the previous plans, MERS would not allow it. So that's why we had a detailed discussion with MERS, sent them all the working, they reviewed it, approved it, and gave us back this plan.
And where do we stand now with the state contribution that we're supposed to get?
So,
Pending, it's in the middle of the process, they're now notifying municipalities of their award, we have not received it yet, but everything's been submitted, and we're anticipating probably any day to get
Right.
notified, so
They,
it's.
they've issued some, a temporary listing of some of the potential cities, and until they are processing all of them. So the application's under the process phase. So that we are, they're processing the applications, and hopefully, sometime next month, we will be informed of their decision, and then, it'll get implemented.
Our hope is that, obviously with the state help, it'll bring us our percentage up significantly. The revamp of the plan here to close the other ones and have one plan that's consistent, that actually is better for the city in the long run, to basically clean this up. And then in third, we hope to continue to pay extra into MERS to get those percentages up even higher so that we never have this issue again.
I think, as far as Michigan is concerned, most of the cities are way below the threshold of 60%. And that's the reason, the state decided to come up with that grant to bring everybody up to that 60% level. And they are evaluating all the cities based on their last evaluation as to at what percentage they are at, and they are going to bridge that gap between where we were to 60%. And going forward, the eventual goal is to take it up to 100%. I can't say it, but I have a feeling that going forward, maybe in a few years' time, they will review this whole situation just like they did now, and they'll come up with another scheme to bring all the cities up to the liabilities.
I hope so, but, last time when they voted, the Democrats were against it, and now they are the majority. So hopefully they don't change their mind.
So hopefully we've
Well,
taken
this is
enough
the-
measures
yeah,
by
this-
then to be in good shape.
No, and this award would be decided in the next month or so.
Okay,
So in a month's time, we would know, how much we're getting.
okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Councilman Rafai?
One question is, previously, a year ago, we had the same HR that came here in front of us, right? And they spoke about that.
Sean's been here less than a year.
Well, before her, when the HR, we had the other HR. And we talked about this. And they said, well, these plans, I think, are the best. And now we have another group saying, well, we're changing this now, we think this is the best. So within a year, we're gonna have different, with due respect, I don't know how long she's gonna be here, maybe we're gonna have another HR stand up
We're
here
hoping to
again.
keep her 5 years.
Well, I'm just saying, so, stand up here again and say, well, listen, we have a different plan. So how long are we gonna be continue doing this
Well,
and choosing these plans?
Councilman,
It's a good question.
I can't, I'm not sure which meeting you're speaking of specifically. I mean, I've had Mashana for most of my tenure here, not quite a year, but most of it. We had some rocky times with our HR prior to that, so I'm not particularly sure who we were referring to, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're left with 3 different plans and a bunch of people not even enrolled. So,
That was before you came, it was with Kathy, and they stood here. And they said the same thing, you know, we have 3 plans, people could choose whatever they want, this is the best plan. And now we come back again, hey, we're trying to manage these 3 plans, have 1 plan, we think this is the best.
Well,
So
if I-
I just wanna know,
If I
how
may-
long will this last?
If I may, I think that it's forever, no, but I think that they just didn't understand how the plans work by even giving them the option to say you can choose this or that was the error in itself, because you cannot choose, and the defined benefit is for your non-union employees, period. So that was just, I think, just an error, not being fully informed of how the plans work, and it is very complicated. I can't speak for them, my year is August the 8th. So I can't, like I said, I can't speak for them, but I don't think that they fully, we didn't even understand. It took me almost a year to fully understand how MERS
I
is supposed to
understood
work.
it.
She understood it, but it took me
I've
a
been
year.
doing this for 30 years, and I'm telling you, your plans are not in compliance. And I can't really speak to what your prior HR director did, but we've run into a number of areas where you could tell that she was learning her job. And that's okay, right? But I'm not learning my job on contract. I've been doing this for 30 years.
Well,
Mr.
the
Chair?
reason I'm saying that because we're not expert here. And we're
Yes.
listening to you guys because that's where you are expert in these kind of
It is why they
retirement.
asked me.
And that's why we're asking this because, like I said, previously they came, we thought it was the best plan, now it's a different plan. I just wanna make sure we, at least continue for a while and and hopefully you'll be here for a while, so we don't have.
At least 5 years.
Another HR here and come say the same, a different thing.
Councilman, this time around, we sought professional help from outside the city on it, and worked with MERS very closely to bring this to you. I can't speak to why or why not. My predecessor didn't address this or did address this. I mean, they did a lot of good things, but, there's always different priorities and different things you come across. There's always gonna be things to fix, and like Mashanda said, I mean, it's possible that they maybe didn't have their head around this as much as we do now, So our intent is to try and fix this once and for all, and this is the end of it.
Mr. Chair?
Councilman Wahid Mahmoud, I'm sorry,
go
I
ahead.
cut him off.
No,
I
that's
cut you
fine.
off earlier.
No, I was going to ask you, so we're making it mandatory for every employee, they must have to sign for it,
Yeah.
right?
All non-union employees.
Why can't you keep it open and whatever they contribute, we match the amount as a city, like,
Well, we have some employees that aren't even enrolled in a plan at all, at all. So we can't take the employees out of a plan, we can't add to the existing plan. MERS won't allow it.
Changing the contribution every year requires new enrollment paperwork. So you determine what the employer contribution is on year 1, and then it holds. So, yeah, you might be thinking of a defined
Yeah,
contribution
defined
plan.
contribution.
yes.
This
But
is a
that's-
defined benefit plan.
What we want them to do is put their money in a defined contribution plan, predominantly right now like an IRA, and we're not gonna match it all. We're doing this, Chevy, I don't know, Chevy, right? This is a Chevy plan, so it's good, it's gonna get you around
not a
town,
Ford?
but
Not
it's
the
not.
Cadillac.
It's a
If
Chevy?
they
Not the
want a
Cadillac.
Cadillac, they need to save on their own.
All right. Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
If I may, actually, I was gonna ask this question, the existing contract with the employees, you already answered that March won't allow it to adjust it. That was one of my questions. But my second question is will this affect our current budget balance?
No.
This is not gonna affect anything, it's just gonna,
Yeah, because this is, like I said, this is going to cost the city
Mhm.
68,000 for the year. A
Mhm.
month? 68,000.
68,000.
for
And
the
you've
year.
included that in the
And-
budget?
Right,
Mhm.
and then the cost for the
Court.
court is going to be around 30 something.
23.
20,
23,000.
We anticipated fixing this.
right.
Okay.
So this would be, so on a total, it'll be 92,000 for the whole year.
So we had provided estimates to your controller and your city manager before we came to this proposal. And they both said that they fit this in the budget.
So I get one thing from all three of you. First of all, thank you for this nice presentation to all of you. Will this, I saw you're enthusiastic, but will this retain the employees that we have with this plan? Will-
Absolutely.
That's what we're
know,
trying to address.
That's one of the things we have here, issue that
Yeah,
we
they're-
don't
they're
retain our
leaving
employees.
For better offers.
Offers, yeah.
Mhm.
It makes us
Thank
more
you.
competitive.
She's saying that, she's
Yes.
gonna stay 5 years.
That was-
Why us changing it?
And you'll see
I hope-
5 years, right?
We'd like to
Yeah, we should get a commitment
I-
on the record
Yeah.
from both of them here.
But it would definitely address, our retention problem, especially when you have an older, more mature worker.
Yeah.
It speaks to their needs as well.
Yeah. I prefer like keeping their experienced employees continuously, as long as we can. That's always
Yeah.
keep the city going better
Well, it
and
doesn't-
efficiently.
It doesn't
It's-
mean they won't stay more than 5 years.
It's-
But
That's the idea.
That's right, that's the idea,
Idea.
because you lose so much manpower when you have to retrain and then you lose all the knowledge, it makes it difficult.
that's been one of our biggest problems in our city is retention of employees and
Mhm.
turnover, which would throw us in chaos anytime somebody leaves.
Sure.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Thanks, guys.
I have one quick question.
Okay, Councilman Abu.
For this contract, the city pending like $92,000 per year. Can you tell me how much we spent last contract per year?
This was not there.
Yeah.
So this is a new,
Contract.
this is a
Defined.
new division that we're creating
Okay.
to address. So like the HR said that some of our employees are registered in another and some are not even registered, So what we're trying to do is we are trying to consolidate all of them to address the inconsistency and the errors of enrollment that we have, along with, all the new employees that have come in. So this will cost about 92,000. So to answer your question, part of the cost for who were already registered, the city has already paid. And some of the costs of the new employees that will come in, the city has not paid.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Guys.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right.
Thanks, it was really nice to see all of you.
You as well.
Great
Thank you.
presentation.
All right, so we back to Hamtramck FC now.
Mhm.
Now that they
We-
know all about the murders.
So we were ready to present the certificate earlier, but you guys weren't here, so sorry to keep you waiting. But again, congratulations on your victory. We thank you for representing Hamtramck in the best way possible. I was invited to this tournament to Tennessee, but I couldn't go, but I knew that our team will bring the trophy home, so we'll celebrate tomorrow with you, inshallah. We have a certificate of Hamtramck, certificate of achievements, Hamtramck City FC. This is to certify that Hamtramck City FC has demonstrated exceptional skill, dedication, and teamwork, securing victory as the proud winner of the 2023 championship tournament. This unwavering commitment to excellence, both on and off the field, has led them to achieve this remarkable triumph, showcasing sportsmanship and determination throughout the tournament. On behalf of the community, we extend our heartfelt congratulations to Hamtramck FC for their outstanding achievement and wish them continued success in their future endeavors. Thank you so much.
We're gonna come around.
Alright, let's follow up with some pictures.
You know, if you can sit down.
If we have people sitting down, it will be easier.
Alright, say cheese.
Okay, everybody look at Max.
It's gonna be a lot of fun on
Max,
Facebook,
Max.
so. There we go, that's a good one. Alright.
Max,
Everybody got some pictures?
Take your time, Brad. Hurry up.
Hey Max, you wanna take another photo? Alright, look at Max, Max. Maybe on Facebook.
Look at the TV.
Alright, say we're doing it again next year. Alright, that's some good ones.
Don't make us go next time, okay?
I watched the game, so I.
You guys get to keep. So that's a 7 years, next year, 3 years.
I've been already 4 times, so it was first time, second time I worked in Alabama, third time was here in China. Yeah, first time now.
So they
Good job,
want,
guys.
you kind of find a few times, they want terms of what?
Oh, they said Monday they'll be paving 10.
Last time I was, I had the computer up to my ear, still couldn't hear a word.
We literally messed up this thing so
We are back. Okay. So we,
Did you forget to give back the medal?
no, they gifted it to me. It's mine.
Wow.
B, C, D, E, F,
It has his name on it.
He don't play, but he get it.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Now we move to additions and deletions. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, sir.
We have
Oh,
one.
we have addition.
Oh.
Oh, I do. I'd like to add edit resolution. Oh, first motion, yeah. Yeah,
I'll
I'd
second.
like to make a motion, and the second by Councilman Mahmoud.
All right, so we are adding, approving MOU between the Michigan Department of Treasury and the City of Hamtramck. That would be resolution number.
Q.
Q, okay.
Resolution number 2023-120.
120, thank you.
All right, thank you. And now we move to the,
I'm sorry, he motioned, but I needed a second.
I did.
Sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. Now to the public comment.
I'm gonna read one emailed comment and then I'll do it.
Wow, how did that happen?
This is from Adam Hajaran. Hello, Rana, my name is Adam Hajaran. I have been here in Hamtramck my whole life as a second generation. I have a question for city council members for today, and the question is, why are new homeowners paying triple the property tax as their neighbors? I'm a first-time homeowner who purchased a home in April 2022, and my property tax this year is almost $6,000 for a single-family, 1,300 square foot home. This is ridiculous and needs some attention. We are being over-assessed for any new home owner. How does city council expect us to stay here if we are being taxed more than people living in cities like Canton, West Bloomfield, Sterling Heights? This is unfair and unjust for a younger generation that wants to stay in Hamtramck and stay in this community that they have been all their lives. Another issue I see is that other cities offer discounts on property tax for senior citizens and veterans. The city of Hamtramck has none of those exemptions, except for a poverty exemption. Our senior citizens deserve help and a discount for being here their whole lives. Again, property taxes for new owners are being overassessed, and the city council must take action. Thank you, Adam Hajaran. All right, I have Nasser Hussein Fleming. Welcome. 3 minutes, sir.
Just regarding the taxes, if people want their taxes decreased, there is on the ballot a proposal to maintain the sinking fund. This one adds $3 to each thousand. Like if you own a house, tax with $100,000, you pay $300 extra. So if people vote it down, you will get rid of this. If people don't, you'll be stuck with it for the next 10 years. $300, 100,000 taxable value. When you campaign, you should tell people this. They could lower their taxes instead of just complaining. As for the parking, I heard Royal Oak, they changed the rules to allow people to park for 15 minutes and for 3 hours. Here we have it for 5 minutes and 4 hours. It used to be 5 and 3 hours, but a friend of the old mayor complained she wanted more time and they changed it for hours. So I should contact the company and tell them that you want 15 minutes or 3 hours. Most people, they want the 15 minutes free, same as Royal Oak. And that's it. The other ones I'll talk during the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Lynn Blasey? Poland Street, 3 minutes.
Hello, Mayor and Council. First of all, I would like to just make sure that we get some context for Resolution 2023-105 regarding the administration policy updates when that's presented. Regarding Resolution 2023-107, the purchase of 3441 Eveline for $120,000 seems like a really large, that's pretty expensive if our plan is to demo the building and turn it into a parking lot. I don't think that's a wise use of our money, and yeah, I'll leave that at that. It's just too much to spend to demo a house. Resolution 2023-112, I do support all professional development for our police department, specifically this resolution supporting a grant that would really focus on PD, focused on police interactions with people with disabilities. Regarding Resolution 13, or 113 through 115. I understand that this would replace the window units that will have a nice effect on the outside of our building. Having window air conditioning units is kind of a tacky look for our city. And then I did talk to John DeAngelis, and he said, I asked why we can't just do an HVAC system and just keep everything through the whole building. And we can't do that because it's a cement building without any ducts. So this is the next best solution. It's an expensive solution, but it seems like it will solve a number of challenges that we have in the city. Resolution 2023-116 regarding the purchase of a wood chipper. I have a very overarching concern about the tree canopy in Hamtramck, and did talk to John about this, but I do really encourage if we have city employees trimming trees or removing trees, that they have trainings on tree care and making sure that we trim trees in a way that is not going to damage the tree further down the road, so we can ensure that the health is as best as possible. And then I do really encourage the city and mayor and council to look into partnerships with our local arborists, who are really our tree experts. I lied, Rana, can I have an extra minute, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Another benefit of this program would really make us, would allow us to give back to the community. John said that we would have wood chips, and we can make those available to residents, use them in public property as well, just as a turnaround benefit of beautifying our city. So I do support that. Resolution 2023-119. I absolutely support replacing all of our old windows, and I think the way that this resolution is set up, allowing for a long-term partnership to replace windows over that period of time, is a really good solution, instead of every time we need a window replaced, coming to council and saying, hey, can we replace these 3 windows, these 4 windows? Resolution 2023-118. This is replacing the plexiglass that's in front of windows. I think this will go a long ways to have consistency to the public-facing areas of City Hall. And just, this would be consistent with the glass that's already in front of the treasurer's office. I do have 2 questions during the parking presentation. I'm really curious where the data set for the pre-pandemic parking came from, because there was no camera monitoring system, so how do we know how many instances the lots were used? And that's all my time.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Josh Hansknecht, of Gallagher, welcome. 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Josh Hansknecht. I am here to speak to you on behalf of the Hamtramck Queer Alliance. I have the duty to remind you of the unfortunate reality that the wound that the elected officials in this city have opened has not been healed, and we have not even really stopped the bleeding. We still have weekly reports of multiple instances of vandalism, slurs, and now even death threats. And it's really concerning as a homeowner here in Hamtramck and a queer person that I want to feel safe here. It might have been 2 weeks of normal business for the council and for the mayor, but for the queer residents of this city, it has been 2 weeks of continued fear. And I'm wondering what the council is planning on doing about this. What I have not heard has been any sort of follow-up or resolution to the events that have already happened. And so now these cases are starting to pile. Some of the places that have been vandalized are now repeat victims. Does the council plan to visit the establishments that are being hate crimed? Is there going to be a task force assigned to the ongoing prevalent hate crimes that are occurring in this city? Are we going to label them as hate crimes or continue labeling them as malicious destruction of property? Those are the questions I would like the council to consider this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Michelle Cameron, Belmont, welcome.
Good evening to all again. I'm here to talk about the property taxes again. I know when we met the last time, we were talking about trying to come up with some resolution with trying to decrease the taxes, not for, just only for the plaintiffs, but for all the residents in all. I read the review and I was a little disturbed because a lot of this information is very inaccurate, first of all. You guys had, not you guys, but they had in here that the tax bills went up to almost 4.5 mils. When I looked up on my tax papers, it was way over 4.5 mils. And like I said, it's misleading to have a tax bill to say this is not a tax bill and say that your taxes is going to be approximately $90 to increase or decrease. And it's not fair to me or anybody else in the city that get those letters and then they get the main tax bill and it's way over $300 or more. It should be some kind of plan to let people know in the city, homeowners especially, and let them know, okay, your taxes may be boosted up a little bit higher than norm instead of getting a big old surprise and everybody is getting upset about it. So, and another thing, I'm in a Sarah Garrett lawsuit. We did win the case. So I know it, on some of those tax bills, it said that federal, it has some kind of court charges on there. But we shouldn't have to pay for something that we have won. We sued. So that didn't even make a lick of sense either. So you can move on to the next topic.
I'm Latisse. I'm gonna finish off her minutes, but Minister Sanders, I don't understand how we sue and Hamtramck never paid for anything. They got funding from the state to put the property taxes for the payment for the lawsuit does not make any sense. I sue you and you tell me I pay, and I win and you tell me I pay you. That doesn't make sense at all. You said you had a resolution. Can we hear about the resolution that you guys have? It shouldn't take more than 2 weeks to get a resolution when we are the plaintiffs. We are the plaintiffs. We should not be paying you guys and we sued you. That's unfair. Or maybe the judge or the state can come back in here and take over, because this is ridiculous. I want to hear resolution.
Thank you. So, I mean, we explained last time that 5% of the increase was by the state, not by the city, right, for this year?
Across the board.
Right.
So 5% of the increase was by the state.
I'm sorry, I hear you.
I said 5% of the increase in this year's tax was by the state, not by the city. And the resolution that the judge decided was just around $50 on each residence. So the subcommittee is still working on this tax increase thing. They will meet with the, department that are responsible for this, and they will discuss what can they do about it. If there's a way to help the residents decrease the tax, or they will do some research about it. So we have 3 city council members in the subcommittee. They will have some meetings soon, and then they will do everything possible to help our residents decrease the tax.
Okay.
All right, thank you. And to address Josh's issue, we are working on an ordinance now to specify some punishment and penalties for any kind of vandalism on private properties. There would be some punishment, some consequences for any kind of vandalism, either in private properties or public properties. So we should hear about that soon. And that's a form of protecting our residents, from anyone, yeah. So our attorney is working on that. We discussed this week, but there was no time to add it to this meeting. So hopefully in the next meeting it will happen. Yeah, thank you. Any more comments? Okay.
Speaking of next meeting, just to keep it on for record, August 8th is canceled.
Yes. So
Because we have an election that day, so our next city council meeting is August 22nd. Kathy Stackpool. Poland, welcome Kathy.
Thank you.
Katrina.
Okay.
So I want to start by thanking the mayor for going on the Tudor Dixon podcast and letting us know what his plans are. Join the national campaign to attack the gays, drive them out of town. You said there was a big shift coming, and that only the militia of the former mayor is standing in your way. So first you target the gays, easy pickings, right? Then, oh, we'll drive out the progressives, the youngsters, the artists, the blacks, the drinkers of beer, and those who like pork, rock and roll, the blues, Polish pastries, trees, good public schools that are not segregated by boys and girls. Who are you going to throw out next? The Hindus, the Buddhists? Because you don't get along with them? The progressive people of this city are not leaving. We are the ones who welcomed you, protected you, stood up against the Islamophobia of the right wing. We defended your right to broadcast your call to prayer. We have been your allies, and we feel betrayed. You say it's okay if we're queer as long as we keep it behind closed doors. In America, the government does not tell anyone how to dress, who to love, or how to worship. You say that we are corrupting your children. No. The children, your children, will become Americanized, just like the second generation of every immigrant group who chooses to move to America. Thank you. Chooses to move here. Yes, chooses to move to America. Here, women and people of color and everybody gets to vote. If you don't want your children to be Americanized, don't move here. This is America. My haircut is in support of the Iranian women who are standing up and throwing off their shackles against their theocratic government. A big shift is coming, a power shift, but it is coming from the younger generations, and that includes your children, who will soon not tolerate your old world ideas much longer in this city. And here's my response to your firing me. Off the Human Relations Commission for putting up a flag that represents the people of the city.
Move on to the next person.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
Bill Meyer?
Tough to follow that. Okay, let's try it here.
3 minutes, sir.
Hello, everyone. Just want to remind you, I sent you a little email to say that you can respond to comments. You know, if you want to say anything about the recent thing, you have a right to do that. You voted for yourself to speak up. I'm here just to honor a very important lady who passed away recently, and I want to acknowledge her. She was inspiration to the city in Detroit. She was the head of the NAACP for the first female heading the NAACP. She ran the YWCA for many years out of Washington. She is a minister, Reverend Dr. Joanne Watson. A most amazing person who I bow myself to. She helped us out in the Human Relations Commission many times and in our One Hamtramck organization. She was a fighter for peace and justice. She would work with all of us. A beautiful person. I just want to acknowledge that. We also, another thing I'm concerned about is that I just found out today one of the very nicest business owners in Hamtramck is closing his business. I'm so upset. Pro Discount on Joseph Campo, a Palestinian Yasser, who was my friend for 26, I've been for 23 years. Apparently has health issues and he has to close down. In his honor and his respect, I just want to say, that's the model of a business owner. He would help everybody. He had sold everything in his store. You could get anything. And he would help anybody come by with their lawnmower, with their motorcycle, with their bicycle, whatever. He was always out in the street helping everybody. A beautiful person. I hope he recovers, and I hope somehow I can save his business, but it's liquidation right now. But just to acknowledge those two very important people, I want to also compliment this administration, all you guys and the employees here for creating the first, okay, by creating the first government that's in the black. I mean, I don't remember since I've lived here 23 years that we've had a balanced budget without a deficit. How do you do it? I mean, did we make some mistakes over the last 16, 18 years? Did you figure some secret out? What is it? Are we lucky that now we're doing good? Well, I'm very proud of it, and I think this is people that are working together, and that's an important aspect. It's very important. You have a staff here now, people who seem to be working well together, and you can make great advances when you work together. So I compliment you on that. And now that my time's up, I'd like to get to what I really want to talk about. Priorities. You have a lot of money. What are you going to spend it on? Windows? You're going to spend it on fixing the roads, whatever. You know, got all these lists of things that have to be done that cost money. What would you do? Can I ask for another minute? What would you, if it was your own house, what would you spend money on the windows? Would you spend money on fixing your car? Would you take your kids to the hospital more? What would you do? I mean, how do you put these priorities in order? What's most important? I mean, don't go spend a lot of money and realize, oops, we forgot we need to build the roads, or we have to fix the water system, or the sewer system, or whatever. So, I hope you know what you're doing, because we got a lot of spending going on in this meeting coming up here. And just finally, I want to talk about a word that we don't say very often here, and it's the real problem that's causing our financial woes. It's called gentrification, and we're victims of it. This is not a city. You guys aren't doing anything wrong as far as money. We've got very little money to work with. Money is going other places. People are making a lot of money in other areas. Cities like Hamtramck are losing. We're suffering gentrification where wealth comes into the city and poor people are driven out. Well, I don't know if that's exactly the case in Hamtramck, but it is in Detroit. And we're right next to Detroit. We're encircled by Detroit. Our situation is affected by what's going on around us. So I really suggest that you look into ways of fighting the gentrification, like creating alliances among residents and businesses.
Thank you so much.
My next part, I'll tell you some ideas.
Can't wait.
Okay.
That's all for public comment, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we move to the consent agenda. This is approved in a single motion with no discussion. We have approval of minutes from the July 11, 2023 regular city council meeting.
Motion.
No, I'm not done.
Let's get it done.
Approval of invoice registered date ending July 25th, 2023. Approval of pre-approved expenditure date ending July 25th, 2023.
Go ahead.
No, and motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, no objections? No. Okay, so we move to the public hearing now, and we have the first one, Resolution 2023-88B, approving second reading and public hearing of amendment to the City of Hamtramck Code of Ordinance, Chapter 51.004, Service Pipe Specification. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All right, so
Another motion to start the public
discussion.
hearing?
Motion.
Second.
8:26.
Yes.
Do you guys want to discuss it first? No?
Well, we hear from the public first, right? We hear from the public, yeah.
Lazi?
Hey, Max.
We discuss.
Nothing,
I see
you want to speak
he
on
has
this
a
one?
pin card for public comment. See if he wants to speak or not.
She doesn't want to speak on this one.
Can I speak on the three altogether, just set mine?
One at a time, sorry.
For the copper thing,
Mhm.
did some research online. It been some people agree with me on Facebook, the copper is much better than the plastic. They say the copper lasts 20 years longer than plastic. So it doesn't make sense to put plastic in 20 years, the city has to come again, because you're responsible for the main line. And remove it and put another line, costs you, on the long run, costs you a lot of money. As I heard from the last meeting, it costs $200 extra for the copper line. I, along with many people, would like to have a copper for $200. Like, we could pay $200 extra and we have a copper line just to make sure it lasts a long time. So if you approve this, maybe you make a stipulation that whoever wants copper, they could pay the extra money you're saving and have a copper line. This would be a middle ground if you insist on having it in plastic, but I don't recommend plastic. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all for public comments? Can I get a motion to end?
I motion.
Second.
All right, that's it. Go ahead.
828,
We discussed about it now, 2022-23-88B.
any discussion or, are we discussing or voting?
Voting.
Voting? Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman El Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
No.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2023-88B approved.
All right, next one is resolution.
Actually, I take that back. You have to vote as well.
Oh, it's ordinance.
So, Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
Yes.
it's already passed.
Resolution 2023-88B approved.
All right, the next one is resolution 2023-102A, approving first reading and setting the date for the public hearing and second reading of amendment to Hamtramck dangerous or abandoned building ordinance, Title 11, Chapter 92, Section 90.001-92.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
So who motion? There's two people.
Then,
And then
That's to open
Mr.
the-
Mahmoud.
Second by,
Mr. Mayor?
wait,
yes,
I need a motion and a second to start public.
public hearing.
No hearing.
Oh.
This is first reading.
Sorry.
Okay. Got a lot going on.
A lot.
You wanna?
Okay, yeah, Mr. Mayor, just a quick overview, as we know, this is just the first reading, so we'll have the public hearing, the public hearing at the next meeting where we can get into detail on it, but essentially, we have problems with abandoned, derelict, and dangerous houses in the city, as we all know. I mean, we all know where they're at around town, and we do already have an ordinance on the books which is this chapter, but we're cleaning it up and fixing it and trying to make it a little bit more manageable for us to use it. One of the things we want to do is finally actually create a review board for just this purpose, and it's all contained here in the ordinance. Basically a measure to try and address some of our problems.
Okay.
Motion to close?
No.
We are motion.
Oh,
They were placed on the public hearing, not
I know.
the new business,
Right,
which is
yeah.
fine. They all are the same, they all be voted the same way, so these two next resolutions are not public hearings, they're just passing resolutions. So is there a discussion?
no.
No, just, are you ready
This
to
just a
vote?
first reading, so we can just
We'll-
not discuss about it.
The next meeting we'll
Next
have a
meeting we can
public
discuss.
hearing.
And discussion, right? Yeah.
Give them time to dig into them.
Okay,
Good?
so let's vote.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman El Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Resolution 2023-102A approved.
All right, the next one is resolution 2023-103A, approving first reading and setting the date for the public hearing and second reading of amendment to Hamtramck Parking Regulations Ordinance, Title 10, Chapter 72, Section 72.005-72.999.
Motion?
Second.
Mr. Mayor? So this is not only a revamp to some things we need cleaned up, but it also introduces a disability parking exclusive to the person who requests it. I may have butchered how I described that a little bit, but we've had a lot of complaints over the years about people spending money to have the privilege of having a handicap spot in front of their home, And then basically, because it's a public street, anyone with a handicap can park there. This basically will create a carve-out specifically for that. It will not be an actual handicap sign, but it'll be a special sign that is essentially permit parking only, but only available to our handicapped residents, so that the spot will be exclusive for them. It has been vetted by our attorneys. I did see a lot of social media chatter on this. However, with that said, we intend to continue to research it as we get feedback over the next few weeks. As we get feedback over the next few weeks, we anticipate even potentially bringing back some more changes to this honorable body at public hearing time, if need be.
Okay. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Councilman Chowdhury.
I'm a little bit optimistic or confused, perhaps, that you're gonna specialize a specialized sign for a specific handicap. How will the other cities, people coming in and they're gonna recognize that this is a special handicap that's only designed to the residents, only specifically to the residents?
The plan is that it's not gonna be an actual handicap sign. It's gonna be something different, a variation on that, and likely say permit parking only.
And as it's drafted right now, what you've seen, it's gonna look completely different the next time that it's in front of the public, probably. We're working out the specifications, the language, so that we don't exclude, as you brought up, anyone coming in.
Yeah.
That's what we're fixing, and we have some issues with regard to enforcement we're looking at too, so once it's been a little more vetted out.
Tweaking it.
Mr. Chair, I got a question, Max. So for someone to get this permit for handicap, what's the process and how long will it take? I know someone told me that you have to do it before, I don't know which month.
So our intention is to try and run it very similar to how we do the regular handicap signs right now in front of homes. Just a yearly upkeep fee, an initial installation. Obviously, they would have to be handicapped and prove that, but we're trying to keep it pretty seamless and painless. We'll have to develop some sort of sticker probably for the cars so that we can identify which car is supposed to be with that spot. But there's some logistics we gotta work out, but we're hoping to make it as painless as possible.
Question there. So designated sign for the specific car and people. So if somebody else also next to it is a handicap sign, he cannot park there?
Our intention is to make it exclusively for the resident who needs it, not outsiders. Hence, it's not actually gonna be a handicap sign. It's gonna be a permit, basically a permit.
I do not want to specify you, but one thing, I'm telling from my experience, we face those things. People have the handicap sign, so he did not park his handicap car there, he parked on the side. He saved this spot for his other car. When other car came in, so he moved this car to there and parked for there. This is another chaos too. You have to see both way.
Well, we certainly can look at potentially assigning a sticker to a specific car too, so that it can't be interchangeable. That is definitely an option.
That's a good idea. Well, no, what Councilman Abu Musa is saying that, I have a handicap, and my brother doesn't have a handicap. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna park my car on the handicap side, I'm gonna park somewhere else.
Yeah,
Until my brother comes home from work, and then we switch. Cause I don't know, nobody's gonna park in my handicap.
It's happened.
And that's common. Or,
That's what I'm talking about in terms of enforcement. People within the city have raised this issue because they've experienced it in other cities. And we're trying to examine the language, but more practically address that concern exactly. How do we make this work for the people it's supposed to work for? But as it's drafted, it's not ready yet.
And do you have any limitation for the street? As an example, Belmont Street, I don't know if the people is watching me or not. Even if you're campaigning there, you cannot park your car there. So many handicap sign, you cannot park any regular car. If guests come in or anybody come in from another town, nothing else there. I do not disrespect anybody else, but I like to make a space for some other also. So if you just put all the handicap signs, so you cannot park any other car there.
limited.
Well, we have a number of handicap signs throughout the community now that people pay for. I mean, we have only so many handicap residents. I mean, one of the requirements we're doing for this is you have to be handicapped and you have to show us that proof. Potentially, maybe we can, you know, look at to see what we can do to address your concerns. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're doing our best to try and present something to this honorable body that will address some of the long-standing concerns here. But I don't think we can ever make it perfect. You know,
I think
everything's gonna have a little bit of a swing in it. Somebody will figure out how to game the system to some degree.
Mr. Mayor, I think this is why this is happening, because this is from the city side too. So a lot of people pay for their handicap parking lot spot, and they probably move out of this street, but you guys never revisit, and the sign is still hanging there. That's why too many handicap parking sign all over. So we need to revisit and make sure they are valid. They're valid to, they are paying the, you know, their dues to the city. There's a code enforcement should go there and enforce the code to make sure.
Yeah, Councilman, I'm not gonna say that there isn't potentially, you know, a few mistakes or something that have been missed, but there's yearly renewal fees with this, so if someone doesn't pay it, we go yank them.
But sign probably still there, that's right. I mean, as you admit that then maybe there's some error.
We pulled the sign completely. But, I mean, there might be some exceptions to that, and mind you, we have found them out there where residents have taken it upon themselves to put them up too. That wasn't even us, so we've identified a couple of those over the years, so.
Last thing, Max, is there another fee for this too, or just includes the handicap itself?
The plan would be an annual fee with this, just the same as the handicapped is currently.
So why are we doing two fees now? If it's the same concept?
Well,
One's gonna be obsolete.
yeah, I mean, the original handicapped program will probably obsolete at this point completely, I would think. I mean, I suppose we could still do a regular handicap if someone wanted it, but I would think most of our handicapped residents probably will shift to this because it exclusifies their car. So, but the intention wasn't to run two, but, I mean, that is a good point too.
If you don't mind, what's the fee are you guys looking into?
Whatever currently is in the fee schedule, I don't know it off the top of my head, Councilman. I can certainly look it up for you. But council adopts and sets it annually. Actually, Chief, do you know what it is?
Yeah, I believe it's $80 currently for the installation, and that's what DBS's costs are to purchase the sign, the installation, everything. And then it's $20 annually for the maintenance through our records clerk to send out the notices and process those.
Activation.
So it's $100 right now for just regular handicap.
Well,
Now we're adding another fee, so they can have a sticker saying, well, you're the only one that can park here.
No, it's not gonna be an addition, it's gonna be either or. So
okay.
our hope is the original just handicap sign program goes away and it's just replaced with this.
Right.
So, and then you guys
That's what
can
it is.
also, you know, set whatever fees you want. You know, when we adopt the budget every year, that's in there of one of the fees you can adjust if you feel it's more appropriate to be lower or more.
No, I think it's what it is, it's good. I just don't wanna charge them another fee so you can get a sticker saying
That's not
that
our
you can park.
intention.
Yeah, okay.
We're just trying to fix it for the residents and address some of their long-standing concerns.
All right.
So the first step in this is to bring a form from the doctor that the person is disabled or what?
They would just have to present their existing handicap placard that they already have for their vehicle.
From the state.
So, I mean, we're not gonna, you know, make someone give us a doctor's note, but
We'll
if
make
you
it
have a
doctor note,
handicap
make sure.
placard, we're good to go.
Because they come ask for a form to prove that they are permanently disabled.
That's
I mean,
probably
is
for
that-
them to submit to the state of Michigan to get the placard in the first place. We just want to see the placard that you're actually legitimately needed, is all.
Okay.
Yeah, state required
Very
certificate.
last question there.
State does require the doctor
once-
certificate.
Yes,
Mr. City Manager, I have a last question to ask you. Dear. We are doing the handicap sign, but on some winter times or nearer times, people reserve the parking with the chairs and garbage can, all those things. Those are the legally they can do so.
You can't reserve parking with a chair. In fact, if we see them, if DPS sees them, we grab that stuff out of the street. It's against ordinance.
If the people in the fight for those things, if people say chair there, they cannot park there, they can call cops.
Yeah, I mean,
Or code enforcement.
I mean, I wouldn't suggest they go and yank the chair that belongs to their neighbor and, you know, get in a fight, but, you know, if it's during normal business hours, DPS, or, you know, DPS is more than happy to go over there with the pickup, grab it and take it. So if they complain, we could probably issue them a citation for doing it.
Or also complain to the code enforcement, because we have did it previously.
Absolutely.
Because it's considered like trash.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilman, the redirector question, the clerk just looked it up, and it's now currently $100 for that installation and then $25 annually. We
Okay.
raised it in the
That's
last
not,
first fee schedule,
okay.
so just. so
That's
you know,
not bad.
so that-
I'm just hoping that there's no extra fee because of the sticker.
All right.
Okay.
Vote.
Yes.
Councilman Ahai,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Al-Samiri,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Resolution 2023-103A approved.
Thank you. Now we move to the new business, and we have the first on resolution 2023. There's a typo. 2023 dash.
Why do you look at me?
I don't know, what time?
You were supposed to.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't catch it as well.
It is the job of 3 people.
I know.
Myself, you are correct.
They all failed to edit it.
20
right?
resolutions on here.
All right, so 2023-104, resolution to approve the contract extension of the 2019-2020. Is it 20? Is that another type?
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
That's correct? On here, yeah.
Road surface resurfacing program for the 2023-2024 road resurfacing program.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. John Hennessy.
We have been waiting.
You know, I went through through this whole resolution and concept of these streets that needs to be repaired or resurfaced again. So I know some of them are because we had the service pipes on these streets. You know, I don't know how you guys do choose these streets. You know, which one we should work on first, do the service piping and all that stuff. But sadly, there are streets out there that are really bad. Service needs to be done. And now we're kind of doing other streets that are fine. We did the service piping, it's fine. But now we're trying to, you know, redo the pavement. I drove on some of these streets with Councilman Al-Samiri, and you know, like I'm gonna give you an example, like Klinger. You know, service pipe was repaired, and I'm happy that it didn't, you know, it was done. But it was repaired on the sides where you drive, it's fine. So why are we doing that where we have other streets? And I'm gonna give you an example like Fleming. Fleming, from the beginning of Fleming all the way to the end, is really bad. So why not choose the streets that really need them the most, start by service lines, and then repave them again?
Fleming is gonna be done, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Fleming from
But
Kniff
it's-
to Casimir is on the list, that's our first road, noted.
Yes.
One second. It is from Kniff to Kashmir, but the entire street, so I'm gonna just do half, where now we're pleasing one side of streets, residents, and not the all. So why not continue the entire resident, they all need
Straight.
service pipe, correct? They all need to be changed.
Yes.
So why not do the entire street once, so we can repair and repave the whole street at once? Why we're doing it slowly, and not, you
So
know.
there's many ways we can approach this, we can start at one corner of the city.
Hold on a second. So, Councilman, we appreciate you absolutely bringing these concerns to us. I did have a brief moment to speak with you earlier in the day in regards to this, and I did take the opportunity to speak with John and briefly Tiffany.
I could see they were waiting for me.
Yeah, well, I was prepping them because we wanted to have an educated response for you, and we wanted to make sure we were prepared and had a resolution for you. So just in kind of our defense on what we've picked here, originally these streets were selected based upon the PACER study, which at least they were supposed to be, which means they were supposed to be from worst to best, obviously. Now, as you know, over the years, politics probably played a hand in that to some degree. I can't speak to all the selection on these because some of these do predate us, at least me and John, and I can't speak to why our predecessors picked this route. But the one thing I can say is that as a rule, we are trying to replace the lead service lines and then systematically repave them as we go after that. and we were sort of following suit with these. With that said, you did bring it to our attention that Klinger, there are probably worse streets than Klinger out there. Some of these other ones on here are pretty bad and in need of it, but if we think that that one's good enough, we could potentially swap that out in the meantime. But over the next 10 years, our hope is that not only are all the lead service lines replaced in the city, but we've also come back through and resurfaced every street in the city at that point too. So at some point, we're gonna have to circle back to Klinger anyway and do it as well. Now, I do 100% recognize your concern of, in the meantime, we'll take it off the list and shift to another one, which I can also tell you that we've had conversations today in regards to this, and that Fleming, the rest of Fleming, which you had flagged as, hey, why don't we just do this? We're going to look at trying to do those lead service lines, maybe even in the fall, moving forward, along with a couple other key streets that we've identified even today as pretty bad. And then moving into next spring, we'll try to systematically work from the worst streets first for lead service lines, and then systematically pave after that. So we are certainly going to take some changes based upon your thoughts on this and reassess.
Okay, and then again now, I'm fine, like you said, this was previously before your time. Now, I'm gonna go back again to the south end. It's been neglected again, where not even one street has been, any service piping been done on that area, or repave the streets. So not even one street is on this list at all. Where, I'm gonna give you an example, Roosevelt is really bad.
Yes.
Where people come for these soccer games from all around the cities, they look at that street, and it's really terrible. It just, why not fix that? Like, you know, like I'm gonna give you an example now, we're trying to fix Yemen Street from Joseph Campo to Gallagher. Why not start from Gallagher to Kona, where people drive to the city hall? Where you have our fire department, our police department that kind of drive through, and it's a presentation to the city. Now, if I come to the city, I'm a visitor, and drive on that Yemen Street, before I come to the city hall, it's all beat up. So imagine what people think about the city. And I do, if we're able to swipe Klinger and start on Roosevelt Street, where it's not the alley.
We do have to do the service lines first, though.
And that's what I'm saying, even service lines. That's why I'm saying, well, how come that street, or that area from Holbrook all the way to Hamtramck Drive, never been any attention to it? It's like it's been neglected all the whole time.
Some of our issues that we have is we put out for certain streets to have lead service lines replaced. Those when we usually have a priority, we want it done a certain way. Getting those consent forms back are critical to getting us on the street. The contractor will not mobilize to that street without 90% of those consent forms signed. So honestly, when you're talking to your residents, those consent forms are huge for us to get back. They have multiple ways to get them back to us. The more we have on that street, and if I get a bunch in for Roosevelt, I can sit there and push that ahead of all these other ones that we are currently trying to track, because hey, we have over 90% of the residents signed, which means we can get into those houses to replace those service lines.
But no one ever went to that area. Have you guys did studies on those streets?
We have, everything's been, for that one, no, because we've had certain ones that we have picked out, like Max said, through the Pazer study. So, we're looking at the condition of the roads, trying to figure out things that way, and we are trying to go around the city. I know on the south side, we did do Oliver.
I'm glad Oliver's on here, even though I've been fighting for it even previously when I was a city council. And trying to get at least one of those streets to be done.
So we have made a change too, where everything's gonna go out to the water bill the next cycle. We're gonna send the consent form to every person getting a water bill.
Yeah, we're gonna blast the whole city with it.
We're gonna blast the whole city with it, because it's taken too long to get the consent forms. And basically, the consent forms are dictating what streets we do for lead service lines.
And these consent forms, do you guys send them to these residents, or how does it work?
We hand deliver them to the residents multiple times. So there's usually at least 2 regular notices and then a final notice that we put out.
I'll request next time, if you guys want help, let us know, because a lot of people don't understand this concept paperwork.
We're also taking a new measure, Councilman, that previously we didn't shut water off for people that didn't respond to us, but after the second or third notice this time, we're turning the water off to get their attention.
Can I ask, have a notice of multi-language?
We have a notice, we have a blurb on the bottom, just come to City Hall if they need assistance.
We're really amping up.
Because of the different languages.
And everybody that comes to the window at the DPS office, we
Mr.
get-
Mayor, I just have a quick
we have
question.
them sign a form. Everybody that comes in for anything, doesn't matter, we're getting a signature. We're trying to get the signatures every way possible.
So I'll respect here on record, if we can start doing Roosevelt as soon as possible. It's really bad. And I'm not gonna continue having residents or visitors from around the city come watch a game, and that street, it just looks bad. So, and then slowly we can move to other streets. Klinger, you can drive through. I drove with me and Councilman Samari. You can hold on until we find other streets that are
It's
really
not gonna
needed.
do that, Klinger. It's not gonna do
Yeah,
that.
this
Councilman,
also brought a couple other concerned streets to us as well this afternoon after you gentlemen looked at them. So we're analyzing a few others, but those have obviously made it on our list at this point, so.
So my question is, Mr. Mayor, while we're having a lot of complaint about the speeding issue in our city, so why on new paved road, why don't we doing the speed bump now? That's what was here.
When we got to repair the street, make the speed hump.
That's the plan, Councilman.
Okay.
Okay, and another street in Set Open is very bad, second in Fleming.
The second half of Fleming, Councilman?
Yeah, Set Open, from Carpenton all the way down to Knief.
We are 100% gonna be reassessing which streets we move to next. And you'll recognize them as the worst.
We didn't need to make the list, make it for this program now, when we repair those streets, put it in.
And I request, if we're gonna do one street, let's try to do the entire street. And not just choose areas, because that makes, residents like, well, how come they did my side and not my other side? You get what I'm trying to say? So if we're able to finish one street, it will be better.
It's very bad.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilman.
I think if you're going to do the entire street from Knief to all the way to Carpenter, it's gonna also cost, the budget will be adjusted, right, as well. I always emphasize about the kind of reconstruction and resurfacing the roads and alleys, That's one thing I was telling folks when I was running. I just have, while you're up here, the Knief from Conan to the Buffalo, they have done one side of it 3 weeks ago, and then never came back to do the other side, the south side. It's like, no work's going on. What's going on there?
It's logistics, construction logistics. So we have to sit there, once we place concrete, we have a cure time. So it's a 7 to 28 day cure time. So we break cylinders at 7 days, 14 days, 28 days. We have to make sure we got the correct strength on that concrete to sit there so we can actually start moving vehicles to pave. Because now, in order to start paving that second half, which I did confirm while we were in this meeting, it sounds like Monday, that second half they should start placing concrete there. But, so it's all about construction and logistics is what it is. It's, we understand that what it looks like, but there's a method and madness behind it, so that we have to.
It's a pretty good traffic to Mount Road, That's the route to Ishan to the up north or going their way. And people are just whining and constantly like, you guys been on this road
Yeah, they
for
don't see anything
too
happen,
long.
so it's hard for them to understand the cure time.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
We should have robots that just walk and act like they're doing something.
All right,
Decoy
thank you.
construction workers.
So I don't know if it's possible, since we wait for those consent forms to come back, some people just ignore them,
Yes,
throw
I'm
in the garbage. Maybe we can send somebody to knock doors one day.
We've done that.
We got our interns out there now. Well, not right this minute, but.
Yeah, maybe that would
we're sending
help,
them out there.
explain to the residents that this is important, we need it back, and
No, we have our bilingual kids that are working in City Hall. We're sending them out doing that as well.
I sent my guys out the other day, so.
Okay,
my
thank you.
department did it.
So that means Oliver, they all signed
And
it?
when we go some street, before we do the letter, let me work with your volunteer. We're gonna let them know.
all right, thank you, and
Just to clarify, we have made a change in the strategy that before, when we were going to do the lead service lines, we will only go and send the consent form to that area. Now, the change in strategy is to get the consent from the entire city. Not wait for us to go to that area first and decide on that and then send the consent form. So if we have the consent from the entire city, it'll speed up the entire work and the planning of all the streets in one go.
And doing that by knocking on the houses, how you guys are doing that?
Well, multiple strategies, sending the notices directly and whenever somebody comes to the city hall for any issues, have them sign the consent form at that stage. So we are applying multiple strategies to get these consent forms.
And plus, if we've identified a street that we would like to do because it's a poor shape,
Don't we
then we're
walk
gonna
it?
knock the doors. And then eventually, if no one responds, no one sends it in, no one signs it in, then we're gonna shut the water off, just to get their attention.
They'll come in then.
All right.
So we're still waiting on about 30% on Kniff between Joseph Campo and Conant. And
And we
those are
block it.
critical because of the road reconstruction for next year. I need to have service lines replaced before they rip up that road next year.
Yes.
So it is critical to try and get the rest of those consent forms.
Anyone's water we shut off, though, we're anticipating turning it right back on the same day. It's more of a, we need your attention type thing, if you're not answering the door. And we're pretty sure people are gonna run in at that point.
Well, if you want help on, regarding to get Roosevelt in this program, let me know.
Okay.
I'm happy Oliver's on there.
Yeah, Roosevelt and
Let's
any
just
other
stick with
street. All right.
All right, thank you. And since we are not getting much money from the state for the alleyways, I discussed with our chief financial officer and Max, if we can utilize $1 million from our general funds to do more alleys, and they said it's possible. We have
That's good.
enough. So I think that's something to show the residents that we care about them and not only doing stuff for us, you know, in the building or stuff like that. So I think it's possible. People wants to see something done for them.
Yes. Sure.
And since we have money sitting there, we can utilize it. And if we get more money from the state, that's fine. If not, I mean, it doesn't affect our budget anyway. So, thank you. Okay, can we vote now on?
You tell me.
Yeah, please.
Yes?
Yes.
Max,
Madam
we
Clerk.
voted on that by holding on Klinger, correct?
What was that?
Are we voting by holding on Klinger?
Yes, we will hold on.
No,
Yeah,
the Klinger is not gonna do
This
it.
is just the approve of the contract.
Okay.
The streets on there, we can change.
Yes.
We can get, all right.
Go ahead.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Musa.
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2023-104 approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next one is Resolution 2023-105, resolution approving Hamtramck General Administrative Policies.
Motion?
Oh. Second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Our last audit identified various policies that we were lacking. So we took it upon ourselves to clean those policies up and add them, then added some more. So basically, we're just trying to shore up our policy manual for all of City Hall. Up until this point, we've had policies, but they haven't really been consolidated in one place, and it actually was sort of trying to find some of the ones we had. So our hope is to take these 7 policies and actually codify them into one concise manual, and then as we get more, add them to them, and of course, bring them before this honorable body. You see on here, there are various ones. There's ethics and conflict of interest, uniform grant guidance policy, purchase policy for federal grants, fixed asset policy, fund balance policy, and use of computer and internet policy. They basically track with our actual ordinances in place on those, and then also federal law for obviously the federal grant policies and such.
Okay. All right, any discussion?
Nope.
Don't.
All right.
I already had discussion with him.
Councilman Mahmoud.
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Musa, do you know what we're voting on?
Yes.
Is that a yes to my question or a yes to the vote?
No,
Okay, so for resolution 23-105.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-105 approved.
All right, thank you. And, all right, let's see, we still have 15 to go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the
Moving
next
along now,
one.
Mayor.
Next one is resolution 2023-106, approving City of Hamtramck Employee Handbook.
I make a motion?
Second.
Mr. Mayor, and Council, in our continued endeavors to straighten things out, the last time anyone did an employee manual, I think was 2018, so we're a little overdue for updates. We subsequently sent it to our attorneys to vet it and change things around and try and clean it up, and we present it for you for your approval.
Okay.
Let's get a vote.
Go ahead and
How much
vote.
it cost us for the
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman El Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-106 approved.
Okay, next one is, all right, let's see.
D.
Resolution 2023-107, approving purchase agreement and subsequent purchase of 3441 Eveline.
Motion?
Second.
Mr. Mayor, on this in particular resolution, as we wrote it out, we are hoping to purchase this home, which is situated directly behind City Hall, and turn it into additional parking for City Hall and surrounding. Couple things, I did hear that the price was a little high, a few people had said that. We did actually get an assessed value of what our assessors believed it would actually be worth. We are within those parameters. Obviously, yes, we are paying for a house, ultimately to demolish it, but there's something to be said about the piece of property is frankly where we need it, we don't have vacant property around City Hall that we can just, contemporaneously right with our back parking lot that'll work. So, property is worth what someone will pay for it. The city of Hamtramck needs it. We are always having problems with parking here. We are constantly hearing about it during the day, whether it's, visitors to pay their water bill or visit the courthouse or you pick your reason for coming, but people are always complaining and late because they can't find parking. Our residents around City Hall are constantly frustrated with us over this because visitors are taking their parking spots. We anticipate with the purchase of this house, maybe getting upwards of 15 to 20 more spots with the addition of restructuring the alley and the existing parking lot we have. It's not just from here, but as a whole, we think we can get a heck of a lot more spots out of it. So we present it for you as something to improve the parking.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
if we refer into parking, Max, the park outside, previously parking used to be like an angle, right? It was like on the sides, so they kind of fixed it where it could be. How come we not do the other side, from on Eveline and Yemen, do the same thing that we did in the front of the City Hall?
We can look at that. It does, at the end of the day, diminish our park size a little bit. It would certainly take away from the park. We are looking at doing just that potentially doing just that in front of veterans. So I wouldn't be totally opposed to it, but it would cost more park space. We would have to move the sidewalk back if we did it. But if that's what this honorable body wants, we can certainly entertain it.
I think there'll be a better option than buying a house for $120,000.
It's probably gonna
demolish
cost
this
pretty
house.
comparable.
Demolish this house. To me, it doesn't make sense. Why am I gonna spend this is my opinion actually. Why am I gonna buy this house for $120,000? Demolish this entire house so I can have between 10 parking space. Where we're able to fix this this park on both sides, it's gonna look much better, where now you can park all around the city. You have more spaces. I think, how much is it gonna cost us? Maybe, I don't think it's gonna be that much than just buying a regular house for $120,000.
So, Councilman, in regards to that, I don't think we'll necessarily get a lot more spots on that because even in front of veterans, it afforded us a few more spots. But I actually believe we probably will get more spots from the purchase of the house, even re-angling those. Plus, please keep in mind too that now we have to redo all the curbs and all the sidewalks around the park as well. My guess, my educated guess is it's probably gonna be pretty comparable.
Yeah, storm and sewer gutters change. You gain about 4 spots.
We can certainly look at that, Councilman, if that's your preference, but I do think it's gonna be very similar. And plus, then we also lose the park space a little bit.
I wish you guys would look into that before we purchase this house.
Well, I do caution you that, the house is for sale. People now know that we're interested in it. If we put this on hold, I can't guarantee that the seller doesn't resell the home, and or someone buys it in speculation of the city of Hamtramck eventually wanting it to. So, I mean, we'll do as council wants, but I think we're at a kind of a crossroad here.
Anybody else?
No,
Let's vote.
I already researched it. Already know.
All right.
We need more spaces.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri,
No.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-107 approved.
All right, next one is, Resolution 2023-108, approval for defined benefit plan adoption of a new division in MERS for all newly hired non-union employees.
Mr.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
Mr. Mayor, as I stated earlier before we had the presentation, all four of these resolutions are companion resolutions to go with our presentation earlier to basically correct it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Councilman Rafai.
I'll request if we're able to postpone these until we review, give more info on these plans here.
The 2023-108.
So how many of them? We have E, F, G, H.
And H.
Actually, we'll still do it since we passed up the additions and deletions, or we can just table them. We can table them. at this
You can
point,
table
right?
them.
Well, I mean, they would individually have to table
Yeah.
each one.
Individually.
All right, let's start with that.
All right.
But
Yeah,
no,
we
they
do.
have to vote on the table. I mean, obviously, my recommendation is, we did the whole presentation today. My hope was that we pass these and move on, but obviously, if that's what council
Go
would like.
save. So, Mr. Rafai wants to have more details, more in-depth
Well,
information.
this is me. Everybody can speak on their self. This is me. If you guys think that you guys have enough presentation that you're fine with it, we can go ahead.
I do have our controller and our HR here. Our contractor did leave, so I don't have her to answer questions again. But I mean, certainly, Councilman, if there's any more questions, we can bring them back up and we can do our best to answer them. The presentation did show the current plans in comparison to the new plan of exactly what we were trying to do. I mean, we can do our best to try and alleviate any concerns for you from now.
Me personally, I think it needs to be done outside city council where we're able to get more info on this. And that's is only me, you know, you have.
I mean, you can do it until next meeting, maybe. You can
You have
hold on
4
to-
other council members that might just vote for it today. That's,
I know, I was just trying to address your concerns.
No, I know.
Because you mentioned it.
I
Plus you
think,
motion, so somebody has to second before we go through.
Second.
Yeah, I only, that was, yeah, only, nobody seconded.
Yeah.
I did
So
second.
now that
Now-
it's
now it's
seconded,
seconded.
you
Now
can
you're
discuss
discussing
it.
it.
Discuss
So,
it.
Actually, I think we were discussing it without
Without
a
second.
motion, but.
Okay, so, any, I feel like this, the city, is trying to do an attractive system to retain the employees, and, you know, one day, if someone work here for 20, 30, 40 years, they should deserve to have a pretty good retirement package, you know. We all, age is the number, but we're gonna get that number.
This
So-
plan also is benefiting the city as well, because we're moving the retirement age from 55 to 60. So at the end,
We're saving,
money
yeah,
for the city.
yeah. And then we have this CFO, HR, and then a special lady from the Mars to give us the pretty good illustrations to educate us, how, you know, what this gonna do for. So I was pretty okay with that because of the, we're making implementation. We're trying to keep our employees here, and they also get benefited at the end. But it's all up to the rest of the council to move on or whatever you want to do.
Our staff put a lot of work in this one for you, so I don't know why.
I don't have no issues with it. Like I said, I think it needs more, I just worry about in the long term. in this budget. You know, the budget is not looking great. Who knows, we might lose Dickerson East with the $1.3 million. So I'm just looking further within years. I think if we're able to get, have a meeting again, try to understand better. I don't think, you know, due respect, I don't think most of them actually feel comfortable of voting. Even Mr. Chowdhury, Councilman Chowdhury is. Me personally, I'm not. So, you know, I believe if we postpone it to a different date, we could vote on it, see if council members want to postpone, or they could vote on it tonight.
Can you wait for until next meeting? We can.
I mean, we can, Councilman. I mean, obviously, just delays, in our opinion, wrapping this up and moving forward. I mean, we want to close these plans and adopt one that's consistent across the board that we feel better fits the city. You know, I mean, it's our opinion that this plan is beneficial to the city. You know, the whole 5 years later of collecting your retirement, I mean, that's a lot, you know, across the board for this.
If they just wait for 2 weeks, it's gonna be big havoc?
I mean, the world's not going to collapse, but I'm just saying that our preference is.
Okay, go
Yeah.
vote.
And we do have, you know, compliance issues too. We are not operating with the terms that's set forth by MERS. We are not. And we are in compliance issues for the reasons that we stated. Our situation, you know, it does need some revamping to make us be in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth by MERS.
I guess I don't know what else we can present on the topic at this point. I mean, we'll try to address anything that you would like, but I don't know what else we can present to you. I mean, we had a contractor that we hired basically to help us with this. You know, our staff has researched it. We've met with MERS. We tried to answer the questions. I honestly don't know what another 2 weeks will gain on it.
Attorney just left. I was wondering, did he look at this whole things? Did he understand anything?
Yeah. He didn't want none of it? No,
Yeah.
No,
Is he has any opinions?
No, he'll be back. It's reviewed by Max and, yeah.
So in case there is a problem that, you know, experts finds in this, we always can come back and change it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, once we vote to close the plans, our intention are to close those plans and basically get rid of them so that no one goes into those anymore. We don't, the new one, I mean, we could not make some of the moves, but I mean, we want to shore it up. You know, we want to bring in the employees that aren't in it now to resolve our compliance issues with MERS. And, you know, I mean, we can delay it, but I don't know what else we can offer the council on the topic.
Why don't my table it, just make more detail?
Well,
We are actually on the motion.
I do have a question though. What about new employees? If we get a new employee within this time, we're gonna have to sign them up to the old plans,
If
right?
anyone comes in the door, at this point, we're gonna have to stick them in another plan, and then we're gonna have to
Shift them back.
shift it again. So it
They'll
adds
be
more.
enrolled in an incorrect plan, essentially. We'll be enrolling them in a plan that we know is incorrect.
We are hiring somebody at this moment.
No, we're still talking about table.
Let's get the,
correct?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that out,
Are you-
take it back.
Well, somebody, you would have to reverse your.
Yeah, I'll take
Okay.
my thing back and let council vote on it.
Mayor has any opinion?
A little bit after
We can always change it, and if there's any
Yeah,
problems.
ordinance, this is through
So I
us.
lifted the motion to table,
And let's vote
so
on,
it's still open for discussion if you want, or you wanna just vote on it?
let's vote.
Yes, vote.
Okay. Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman Musa,
So I'm sorry, just to make a correction, voting on,
we're voting
the
on
way
the
it is right now.
resolution.
Not-
He motioned to lift the, tabling,
okay,
so we're voting on the resolution.
resolution, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You want it or not?
So, Councilman Musa,
No.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri.
Yeah, no.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-108, not approved.
That was the table or the whole
No,
resolution, 'cause I
he-
stepped
he
out?
I took out my table.
Okay.
So you get 3 no on 1, 2 yes, or,
Yeah.
2 yeses, 3 noes.
so mayor can vote now?
No, it's
That
not
was
tied.
tied.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
So, I
does
mean,
that make all the rest still active?
Well, I mean, they're active, but, I mean, they're all,
The part of the one
There are serious issues with
compliance.
compliance and consistency. So this motion, this whole proposal will have to be brought again.
Because we're not
We
in
can't have
compliance.
this inconsistency and
Yep.
compliance issue. So you vote today, or you vote tomorrow, or next year,
Yeah.
it is going to come back.
And this is coming from MERS, I mean, this is,
Yeah.
you know, an IRS approved pension plan, we have,
I
We
understand.
have to
we
have the
have to
compliance.
have the compliance.
Compliance.
We're out
there's,
of compliance.
there's also some potential closed session discussions that this brings forward,
Hmm.
if it doesn't happen.
I knew
Liability.
what you were up against is the compliance mostly. I'm a compliance officer for my company.
Go
I
and
too
next
take a
one.
test.
You
Well,
can't have employees, you know, some in a
Not
plan,
in
and
the-
then others that are not.
we haven't been compliant with the state for MERS for how long now? It's not gonna hurt if we waited a week or two, but it seemed like,
Councilman,
You know-
my only concern is that we've brought it to the attention of council at this point to try and remedy what we believe is the problem. And now we've continued the problem and didn't resolve what we thought was gonna fix the problem. We've brought it to the forefront to fix it.
Right. So what do we
So-
do? I mean, as the CFO said that it will come back. So do we continue with the rest of them to vote, or we just
Well,
table them
all
and
four
then?
of them are separate resolutions, but companion resolutions. So council could
Table?
decide to table all 3 of them, disapprove all 3 of them, approve 3 of them, bring one back, reconsider the one that just went through. I mean, there's any myriad of options. At some point, if they all are disapproved, I probably will try to get, I don't wanna say an emergency, but I will ask that the mayor convene with a subcommittee to fairly quickly and hopefully bring them back pretty rapidly and maybe go into closed session at some point and discuss potential liability issues with our city attorney. I hope that explains it.
Mhm.
all right, so I guess
So who's
easiest
gonna
way
make
is,
the decision?
Well, again, we're on the next, you just voted down 108, correct? Was it 108?
Yes.
108,
Just
yeah.
108.
Mhm.
So either it can be, I believe we can reconsider a motion?
Yeah.
We can reconsider a motion, or we can move forward denying the next 3, or approve the next, it's on this honorable council.
Any of you guys reconsidering what you want to do, or?
Reconsider your vote and
I mean, if
reopen the motion.
anyone will change his mind, we can reconsider it, I mean, after this explanation. Because the next step is to bring it back in the next meeting and,
All over again.
so like I said, I mean, in case if it gets approved and we found, you know, ask some experts and it has some problems for the city, we can bring it back and
Mr.
just,
Mayor,
and just,
Mhm.
I'll be reconsidered for this.
you will reconsider?
I'll
Okay,
reconsider this.
I mean,
Okay.
Councilman Abu Musa will reconsider.
Consider his vote. So he make a motion, or
I mean,
we
is
vote
there,
again?
this is,
Because, I'm
Hold on,
sorry,
it's an attorney issue now, you have
Mr.
to.
Chair,
108.
yes.
But we
the
have-
way you explain it, if there any issue come up there, we can bring it back to the table,
Yes.
we can
And then,
define
yeah.
it.
That's why I was convinced.
Only that this is the reason
Otherwise, I
I'm
would not.
changing, I'm considering
Or-
those things.
Does he have a motion to reconsider?
Okay, you brought the motion to reconsider?
Yes.
Right. So need a second, right?
He needs a second.
All right, seconded.
So can I ask a question? Is he reconsidering his vote
Yes.
And
He
if
is
he's
reconsidering his vote.
He needs a motion for somebody to approve him reconsidering his vote,
He is motioning to reconsider the vote.
the vote, so we'd have to vote it all
Again.
over
Yes.
again? Okay.
And I'm reconsidering the reason.
So-
Mr. Mayor explain again. If any issue come up there, we can bring to back to the council.
Council
And we
Chowdhury,
can
you
defend.
seconded on that?
Yes.
Is everybody in approval?
Yes.
Do we just do roll again, or do we still motion again to
So
vote
now
on it?
the one they just denied is back on the table?
Yes.
I'm making a
108
motion.
is back on the table
To
for
revote again.
consideration and for revote.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do we have to
Do they have to motion
bring
again
a motion,
to?
bring it back?
Revoting.
Or it's just on now because they.
I think when they voted, they closed it, and then when
now
we
it has-
motions to
it's reopened.
Okay,
that's
so
what
now we
opens
just
it.
give, we're back on,
We're
108,
back
like
on,
nothing happened, we
108 is
closed.
on, and so,
It's open now. We gotta vote again,
Yep.
this resolution.
So
And
you
now
don't
you
need-
hear us again, the 4 of us or 3 of us vote again, then this will pass or not passing.
exactly.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, take the vote. Please.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman Al Samiri,
No.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-108 approved.
All right, thank you. Next one is resolution 2023-109, approving defined benefit plan amendment to MERS Division 01.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All right. Any other explanation that's different than the first
Now,
one?
why didn't you combine all at once, together?
Because they're different motions, they do different things, different plans. So,
That was the requirement of MERS that need to be
They would have
approved
done
as
it.
separate resolutions. Even though it's the same, overall same plan, but because they affect different divisions, so it has to have a separate resolution for each division. That's the reason.
Okay,
thank you.
let's just
All right.
vote, we know
All right,
we're
let's
up against
vote
the
on the next
Mars.
one. F, let's vote.
Yeah.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman Musa,
No.
How do you?
I mean, they are linked, all of them.
they're all
so-
together, they're all
Oh, I'm
under
sorry.
MERS.
I mean,
Then,
I'm sorry.
yes.
They, like 4 resolution,
It's the
they
same.
are the same decision. I mean, I
Yes.
think
Should
everyone,
we come back to you?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri.
No.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-109 approved.
all right, the next one. So I guess the next 3, right? 2 more?
Two more.
Two more, they are, one
Right.
package. Yeah, one package.
Just have a different resolution number.
So resolution 2023-110, approving defined benefit plan amendment to MERS Division 08.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All right, vote.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman Al Samiri,
No.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-110 approved.
All right, and the last one is resolution 2023-111, approving uniform transfer position and MERS plan.
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman Al Samiri.
No.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-111 approved.
Okay.
Mr.
All right,
Mayor,
yes.
Councilman Rafai, if you would like tomorrow morning to sit with us, to try and go through this fine tooth comb, I know you still have reservations about it, more than happy to try to carve out some time.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, so the next one is resolution 2023-112, approving support for Warriors on Wheels and ARC Detroit to submit a grant application to the Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, I have the chief here to talk about this.
Okay.
Mayor and Council.
No.
This resolution originally came to you in 2021, to partner with Warrior on Wheels and Arc Detroit to do a grant application
to assist with the City of Hamtramck's Police Department and training on the disabled community. For whatever reason, they were not able to proceed with their grant back in 2021. I imagine there was a lot going on with COVID and things. So they came back to us again. They're willing to submit a grant application and partner with the police department and give us training on working with the disabled community and interacting with them. So I just ask you to, this was part of their process for the grant, was to approve this resolution.
Good for me.
All right.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. All right, we can go ahead and vote on that.
Mm-hmm.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-112 approved.
All right, next one, 15 more to go. Resolution 2023-113, resolution to approve the purchase of mini split cooling unit for the second floor council chamber.
I motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, Honorable Council, I have our DPS director here to defend this one. I'm sorry.
You are the-
besides this one.
It's hot in here.
End of presentation.
All right.
Yeah.
Another bargain.
Any questions?
Just
John,
Mr.
why don't you give an overview?
I'll give a quick overview. This is for basically a mini split, couple mini split units, so there'd be two what they call heads that would go in a strategic location within the room here with one condenser unit, that would be on the roof. So they'd actually take it through the third floor, through a chaseway, and then stationed on the roof, which in this building is not the, easiest task. I did happen to talk to some other contractors relating to mini splits. One, finding a contractor that could do the job, one, has the units in stock, and two, that could do it in a timely manner is almost impossible. Two, we've used this contractor for, I think, going on 12 years now. So he's been bid out a few times on different projects earlier, was a low bidder in those projects. However, not only that, the owner was here writing up the estimate himself, taking down serial numbers, model numbers, and whatnot. This is information that I've gathered from my department when I've talked to people that have been there longer than me. So he's been very thorough. He comes in when we need him. I had him put this together. He's bid different projects in the city for mini splits before. So all the different offices I've been trying to get bids on to do this. These also act as a heat pump. So if for some reason we do lose our boiler, we have some right now in the assessing office that can be turned on to do heat. This would also be able to supplement heat. And it's very inexpensive heat. Basically runs on a 15 amp breaker, 220, 15 amp breaker. So they're very energy efficient. That's why using this compared to a furnace model. In this building, doing a furnace model, other than what the court has done, is quite difficult, especially on the first floor.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. John,
Yes.
even though, I kind of did mention to Max, after the 2 council meetings we had, it was kind of hot in here that we actually had to open the windows. So it was kind of a request that we do need ACs there. I'm looking at the prices on these units, and my question is to you, you have a value here that will cost $17,848, correct?
That's for this, because it's the bigger tonnage. So it's a 4-ton condenser with two 2-ton head units, with all the line sets to get, and then get it to the roof.
And those are just for the units, correct?
That's for the, no, that's to install it all but the electrical. The electrical line, I didn't want them to quote because all they do is get electrical quote and then times it by 1.5 and then let us know what we owe for them. We have our own electricians that we bring in to do work, and they're in the city quite a bit, so I'd have them run the electrical line to the unit.
Is labor included in this price?
Yes.
On the estimate that I have, it's not included in that price. The following are excluded: prime time labor and
Premium time labor, so.
premium
that-
time labor and actually line voltage electrical wiring.
Right, that's the electrical line that just mentioned, that would be done by our electrician. And the premium time labor is basically if we have them work off hours or weekend hours, or there's something that they would come across that requires a special skill or a set to core through or what relating to like the roof or a cement wall or whatnot.
And now, what's gonna be the final estimate on this? To
It
get
should-
these done?
You mean, well, it's their price, unless, like you say, they run into a unforeseen circumstance, but that's gonna be in anybody's contract. And this contractor's been pretty legit with us, he's worked here for 12 years plus, and we haven't had any problems with him in the past. So he's a pretty reputable company. And he always answers the phone when I call him. Actually, I called him at 6:30 this morning, he answered the phone.
So are they looking at that they are actually gonna work overtime by not including this in here?
No, I'm gonna tell him I don't want the premium time, get it done on regular time. Yeah, for sure.
18,000, as you said, Mr. Mayor, 18,000, as you say, is a kind of high price for this small room like this. Seems to look like. Did you try other vendors, or you just went to one
Yeah,
vendor?
I own a lot of commercial buildings myself, and I use these units in a lot of my bars and my restaurants on a regular basis. And the prices that we've gotten are very consistent to what I pay. And look, so I use multiple contractors in different areas because I have different businesses around the state. But the pricing seems to be right in line with it.
So also,
It's a small tenement house.
our DPS director has
you know,
the
you've done it
benefit
before.
of being
It's got
a building inspector as well.
pumps.
So he's been around this pretty prevalent. Plus, this room isn't really that small, and as we all know, sometimes it's standing room only. I mean, there's not a lot of people in the room right now, and it's hot in here. I mean, we've been dying in here over the years for various times, so, I believe.
A few weeks ago was really bad.
If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
I
last
think we
meeting
did
was
go with
very,
the larger
very, I was
unit
sweating myself.
to handle just that issue, so.
But they give us good reports, so it's going like with they service our boiler currently. They're always on time with compliance with the state, making sure that we're not, falling out of compliance. They're always coming in, right when I get ready, they should be coming in for the boiler, they're there. So that's what I like about this company, pretty reputable.
What's the capacity for this? And certain extension, if you extend this room near future, just, say it's gonna.
I have a
It'll
game,
cover this.
I have a game room with one 2-ton unit in it myself, and I put 100 people in that room and it keeps up. This is gonna have 2 units in it. So I don't see a problem with cooling in this room with the 2 units. The other advantage with the mini split is they're very quiet. Sometimes even like on a low setting, you don't even think they're on. They're very, very quiet. So when you're back here, a lot of the residents, you can't hear what somebody's saying up here because of that window air. And that's not keeping up. So if we added another window air in here, if the windows could even support it, it would be too noisy, you wouldn't be able to hear anything. So this is the best option, I think, for this room. And if it's multi-purpose later down the road or made bigger, there's probably some play in the system that can take that extra space on.
The reason I'm asking because I had some done on my house,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if the commercial costs more than residential or whatever it is. It's just to me the prices, the way I look at it is really high.
Yeah.
For-
There's
for
prices
these
all
two
over the
units.
maps on these things. I bought one that I ordered online for $800, and it was $800. It didn't work. I ended up getting something else, so.
Well, not $800. I know they cost between $4,000 to $6,000 just for the.
Yeah, here we got a lot of labor. This, working on a 100-year-old building and getting the unit where it needs to go, onto the roof, that's gonna add some money, especially in the line set, because the line sets are still copper and everything. You got to make sure there's no leaks and gotta get the proper length, so this is the trickiest one to do it.
And this is coming from general funds, correct?
This would be from general fund, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is general fund.
And what I'm trying to do in the long run, the whole vision is to hit a couple of these over time, not all at one time. We have to do a lot of this building, right? We're not gonna be able to sustain it all in 1 year.
My last question, not least, did you get estimates from other companies?
Not on this particular bid that I got here. I did call some that I wanted to get bids from, and they would not even be able to service us this season on this. So I was very comfortable with the pricing I seen compared to how I spend my money in my locations for the same size unit, for the same tonnage, and for the same complexity of how it's installed. So that's why I recommend going with somebody that we're already familiar with, somebody that's insured, somebody comes in, they get out, and they do their job, and we're not screwing around with an unknown.
That's all I have, so.
Okay. So what are we expecting in the next meeting? with other projects.
I won't be here in
It's
2 weeks.
canceled. Election day.
Let's cancel it. It's been canceled.
It's gonna be the next.
All right, I mean, it seems like we
Well-
have three other units for the clerk office, for the city council office, for city manager office, except for the mayor's office. Because I don't ask anything for myself, that's fine.
I'm just answering it. It's there, so.
Okay, let's go ahead and, vote.
Mr. Mayor, we got two. They could be reused. I'm not.
Actually, John, what, are those also AC units at the top that are, like,
Yeah.
obsolete? They don't obviously, right?
So you pointed them out?
I just noticed them as well. I was like, I know the bottom one, we turned it on, but I'm like.
Oh, those doesn't work?
That one broke, so I put one down there.
Fine. I'll take one of the used ones, that's fine.
All right.
All right, let's vote.
Councilman El Samiri,
No.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chaudhry,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman Musa,
No.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2023-113, not approved.
Okay, so
Can't
let's,
complain when we get hot next time.
maybe if there's
That's
another
enough.
option, cheaper
Hopefully we
one,
don't have a hot
bring it
tub.
next time.
It's all
All
right.
right?
We'll make do.
Hmm.
I may get a mini cooler.
All right. That gives us an opportunity to search for other options,
Yes.
cheaper ones.
Yeah.
Next one is Resolution 2023-115 to approve.
114.
I'm sorry,
114, I was-
114.
First floor.
To approve the purchase of mini split cooling unit for first floor council office and administrative office.
I motion.
Second.
All right, discussion?
No, sir.
That's
A smaller amount.
9,500.
It's gonna be same question, same thing.
All right,
Move to.
Yeah, I
vote.
guess move it to vote is better,
Alright,
save
that's,
time.
that's your office. You better not change your vote.
Same, it's gonna be same question.
It's not the same, this is a huge, going through the ceiling, going up on the roof to put them, the ones down.
Well, the other one, they're gonna be in the outside,
They're smaller
Smaller.
units, right?
they're gonna be the outside, or they're gonna be inside?
The condenser would be outside, the head of the unit is on the inside, just pretty much like Conrad's in assessment.
Yeah.
Well, so, all right, let's vote on this one.
Councilman El Samiri,
No,
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chaudhry,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2023-114 approved.
All right. The next one is Resolution 2023-115 to approve the purchase of mini split cooling unit for the city clerk's office.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Go ahead.
What you doing?
That's
Please.
10,400.
I'm sorry, I was not paying attention.
I
You
make a
motioned-
motion.
You motioned, you seconded, right, yeah.
All right.
And let's go ahead with the vote. If you don't mind.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman El Samiri,
no,
look at me and say no.
Oh, boy.
Councilman Musa, thank you, sir. Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I get a new mini split in my office, Resolution 2023-115 approved, which I have to admit, I don't like the AC, I wish you would know. I don't like it, but my guys complain it's too hot in there, so thank you, I appreciate it.
So we only punish the residents here when they come and
Yeah.
you know, during
Well,
public
we
comments.
explored motions to reconsider tonight.
Yeah. It gets hard when there's too many people
It's
in
hot
here.
right now.
It is.
All this.
Okay.
It's really.
All right.
And as you can see, John is remaining up here because the next resolution is also his.
Okay, so the next one is Resolution 2023-116 to approve the purchase of a Bearcat wood chipper for the Department of Public Service.
Motion.
Second.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I have John here to talk about this and hopefully make a good pitch.
Well, you know, when I took this job, I had 3 goals. One was to provide the best service I could to the residents. And 2 was to modernize this department. This department, when I took this job and needed work in the building, I was invisible. Nobody even knew we had a DPW. Trucks weren't labeled, trucks all different colors, junky trucks running all around. Nobody knew who was pulling up in front of their house. And the other thing that I told myself I wanted to do was find ways to save money at the same time. So I looked at the 2 expenditures here that we're spending a lot of money on. And you might have the brochures up there with you or not. But on just tree trimming, which out of default became a necessity with a street sweeper, because I can't get it down the streets without trimming the trees. Trying to call out limb walkers, who we spent $150,000 with last year doing trimming trees. And I'm taking a very conservative approach. I believe we can do 35% of that in-house. And we have the manpower to do it. The only thing we need to do with it is get a chipper, because it makes it a lot easier. One of the council members was out when we happened to trim a lot of neighborhoods up last week. And the process of just cutting the branch down, throwing it on the ground, picking it up, putting it on a trailer, filling the trailer up, strapping the trailer down, driving it to the yard, unloading the trailer, putting it on the ground, to bring the trailer back and pick up more. Just to pay somebody down the road to go pick that branch back up, and either throw it in the dumpster that you're gonna overfill quickly at a cost of $600, and pay the labor to do it, when we could have just picked the branch off the street and ran it through a chipper and to a dump truck that we already currently own. $26,000 investment, save about $51,000 conservatively, just on that one decision. That's not counting the $1,000 extra. I timed it. I kept track of the hours, of what the guys spent bringing the trailer back and forth, picking up these branches and bringing them to the yard, which are still sitting on Dan Street in the yard, piled up. Would be about $1,000 a day. I expect this unit to be out probably on average about 2 days a month, 2 to 3 days a month. So we'd be saving about $3,000 in man hours per month, plus $51,000 for a $26,000 investment. So when I was looking at where I could save money in my department, I told you, many of you, I found ways to save money, and I'm going to bring it to the council. This was one of the ways that I'm going to save money. And also provide a service to the residents, I think, that would be greatly appreciated. One will have the wood chips that we can stack and pile for the use of the gardening or compost or whatever they want to do with it, to help get rid of it so we don't dispose of it.
So, John, and this is coming from the road?
This will be coming from the road fund, yes.
So continue.
And if you vote it down, it don't matter. We're still going to be spending it. Because I'm just going to call limb walkers up and they're going to do it. It's just going to cost you a whole lot more money. That's the only difference. So what I'm trying to do is cost you less money.
I think every other city I see, they all have it.
My question is now, if we get this, you know, the road budget right now, how much is it? How much do we still?
Millions.
Sorry?
For the road,
What's our road fund?
Millions.
About 4 million for the major roads and about the same for the local roads.
And it's still,
Sorry.
and it still comes out. So if we don't buy it, we're still paying somebody to take it out of the road fund.
That's the fund balance for the roads. The actual revenue that we get each year, the main roads, we get about 1.7, 1.8 million per year, and about 600,000 to 700,000 for local roads. So that's the revenue.
so that's almost what, 2
million.
What's the ending balance that we have now?
4 million each in the roads.
And how come we're not doing a lot of roads?
That's why we are doing
trying to.
Max, we are doing.
A lot of engineering, there's a lot of pre-steps
Max,
on this.
That's a lot of money.
We are doing $2 million worth of road in this new budget year. So that's why I've increased.
And how many streets are we doing with that 2 million?
We have 7 on the books right now.
And beside this one that we talked about earlier, right?
There's 7
Councilman,
roads.
we're not done. We're gonna try to do as many as we possibly can, but we can only ramp up so quickly. We
But
do have
somebody's
to.
gone, why starting so late though?
Well, part of it was,
Engineering.
well, that, and, I've been in the job not quite a year here. We had a ton of turnover in City Hall. The contractors were working at a set pace for a really long time. And frankly, we're starting to amp them up. We had hoped that they were gonna be out earlier in the spring, but I don't think they really believed us how much we had planned on amping this up. They got it now. We're gonna be doing all kinds of stuff here mid-August, and I'm hoping to continue that pace right through till the snow flies and pick it up right in the spring. So, it's just a matter of getting us on a new speed here, I guess.
We've made the money available for all this activity. That's why we're ramping up on the lead service lines, we're ramping up on the road, and we're ramping up on the water and sewer projects.
So since this is $26,000, not a big deal, let's get it both right. Let's get it done, move on.
Yeah,
This is one of those decisions which are a no-brainer. We're spending $26,000 to save $51,000, plus another $3,000 per month on that. So it's a no-brainer as far as this decision is concerned.
John, even though I requested for an inventory of all the equipment that we have, so I hope that we have an Excel sheet.
We're working.
I finished at 15 minutes before Max
I know he
asked
told
for
me.
it. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Or else I would've
at
made it
least we
pretty
know
for
what
him.
equipment we have in our department.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, if we
Yeah.
could.
Councilman, one of the things that our controller is doing is actually, we got that module for all our assets in BSNA. That's exactly what we're doing.
Plus we are, in order for our insurance renewal, this is the information that the insurance company has requested.
Yeah, what you got was his assignment to
What
me,
you,
so.
what you asked
Timing is
him,
good.
I'd already asked John to prepare, a little while ago. So we are already working on that.
Oh, so at least we know what we have in our
Yeah.
department.
No, that's
I think that's
Yeah,
important.
well, we hope to be able to, every year, present you with a list of everything in City Hall.
And if you go through it, you're gonna see that really, for a DPS
Yeah.
department, we don't have a lot of stuff. That's why I've been in here a lot, trying to
Well,
really
now you
modernize
should
and
have,
get
I've
it.
been purchasing stuff for you
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, but Councilman,
Yeah.
this is new.
We're
I mean,
like, we started from
up
ground
until-
zero.
Up until a year and a half ago, we had a couple DPW guys,
I know.
I mean, our DPS department was decimated. I mean, we weren't handling anything except for like turning water on and off, I mean, we're literally building you a DPS department in hopes of being able to respond to all the city's needs. But it's gonna take time. I mean, we gotta get the gear, we gotta get people trained, we gotta get in the routines of things. I mean, it's just not gonna happen overnight. I mean, we're building a department for you.
Right, that's why I don't ask a lot of questions on those.
That's
If you
good.
don't have the right equipment, you cannot work. You cannot be a mechanic if you don't have the right tools.
We got a lot of young, energetic people coming into that department. They're very happy to even be here. They're kicking butt out there. I mean,
And they're all still here.
Ready?
We'll lose one since I hired one.
Mr. Mayor?
All right, let's vote.
Councilman Al Samiri,
No,
Councilman Floyd,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2023-116 approved.
Okay, next one is Resolution 2023-117 to approve the purchase of a mini excavator for the Department of Public Service.
Mr. Mayor?
By motion?
Second.
Sorry. Mr. Mayor,
Who
obviously
seconded?
John here to defend this.
I seconded.
It's, again, a savings to the city, exact same story, with the exception of, John can elaborate on what the uses are on this better than I can, as to what exactly we want to do with it, so.
I know what it is.
Well, this unit here is kind of a matrix of what we can use it for. And I'm actually proud of my department because it was actually their idea. We're spending on the metal pipe that comes out of your lawn, they turn the water on and off, stop box, curb box, you call it. When those are on an angle and we can't shut water off or they're damaged in any ways, we have a contract with sewer and water to fix them at a cost of $1,300 a piece. Some of these are taking an hour to fix with the proper equipment. And we're sending out $1,300 every time we send somebody out. So I had a report done, and we're spending approximately $100,000 to $130,000 a year, sending somebody out to fix a stop box that we're probably not even collecting $1,300 in water on. I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is craziness. And my department, Brian came up to me and said, John, we can do these boxes. It's not hard, I just need the right equipment to do it. So what do you need? He said, well, I need a mini excavator. I said, well, they're $100,000. That ain't gonna happen. So I called around and I found a mini excavator with low hours, 2,200 hours, a Kubota, a used one, for $35,000. It does need a trailer. And we can fix these curb boxes ourselves and not have to send it out to a contractor. The problem with sending out a contractor, we're going out there to shut off water, and I send this out to sewer and water, and they don't get to it for 6 weeks. These people are getting their water shut off. Now their water bill is even worse. They've been running water for 6 more weeks. They get to the point where they can't even afford to turn it back on. That's just the one use with this machine. The other use is this ties in with the trees. There's a lot of trees on Goodson, 5 or 6 of them I drove down the other day. There are small enough trees that our department can handle, which we won't have to send out to a contractor to cut down. The one thing I'm gonna have to do when I cut the tree down though is I have to pull the stump out. This piece of equipment will be able to pull the stump out, and we can restore that area ourselves in-house without using the contractor. So all I'm trying to do here again is avoid sending another job out to another outside contractor to save the city money, and then also have a piece of equipment that we can also grow with, possibly do water lines ourselves, use it for a wide range of things, taking out sign foundations, whatnot. This unit is small, maneuverable, it works on our streets, it's perfect. The one thing I did add that's new to this would be a 12-inch bucket, so I'm not scooping out somebody's whole front lawn when I fix their curb box. And 2 was what they call a thumb attachment, which allows us to do trash cleanup and whatnot. So when we have a site or cleanup, this machine can actually go there, pick up trash, throw it in the dumpster, and we're not having guys trying to lift things up and throw it over the side of the dumpster. So this is gonna be a multi-use machine that we can save money in many ways. I'm just letting you know about the one savings right off the bat. Is about $130,000 a year that we're sending out to sewer and water specialists.
We're trying to get away from contractors. Contractors is not the ticket, you know. These emergency managers came in and decimated our departments, and basically all these contractors raised their hands and said that, you know, we'll do this work for this amount, which looked very attractive at the time, but once our department is decimated and we don't have the equipment, now we're at the mercy of them, you know. So, I mean, they basically can bill us for whatever they want at some point, you know. I mean, of course we bid it out, but, you know, we can do all this stuff in-house for a lot cheaper, and probably a lot more efficient, and, you know, better quality service for our residents.
John,
So-
do we have one now or no?
We have a huge one right now, so we can do like big job, but I could not bring that to somebody's house, and I would like dig their whole front lawn out with it. So, yeah, this is designed to work in a tighter spot, doing a smaller repair, a sign, you know, like taking out sign foundations, or if we have to dig in for a sign foundation too hard to dig through, this would be a perfect machine for that. Dig the hole, put the sign in, backfill it, whatnot. This is a great machine. It has a lot of purposes. You can do small demos with it. There's a lot you can do with it. Of course, the new one it's $100,000 to $120,000 by new one. I'm not asking for that. We found a good one here. 2,000 hours is low hours. Generally, you get around 10,000 hours, and you start questioning if you want to buy something or not. But to find one, this, from what they told me here, this was a farmer that had it and used to use it for his fences on his property. Turned it in and got a different unit.
I mean, why don't you wait till next year, since the season is almost getting over this year, and buy a new one?
Oh, no, this can be used all year. We have curb box and stop box issues all winter long. So especially in the winter when the ground's frozen, the guys ain't gonna dig that. That's gonna stay, those people are gonna run their water bill up that were supposed to shut off, they're gonna run that all winter long. But this, we can dig it.
So it looks like you got it from the same company that you got the wood chipper from.
Yep, they actually knocked the price down a little bit because we bought our Kubota snow plows from them. They went through the whole unit. I told them I wanted a whole maintenance done on the unit before we picked it up. And they're looking at building a long-term relationship with the city, so I told them I don't want some nightmare headache. So he said, no, we're doing a full maintenance.
So we are, it looks like we're giving them a lot of business for this company.
Yeah, they've been pretty good. They've been pretty good to us, and I said I added those attachments because I already know the purposes that I can use that for, that's gonna save the city even more. The numbers that I'm giving you are very conservative. I think, I told the mayor earlier, I'd like to look back a year from now after we put these things in use to see how close I was to my predictions with the council, to see if I was off or above, and I can guarantee you it's gonna be better than what I told you.
And is that where we got the other equipments from?
It's same thing I'm gonna get the wood chipper from too, same place, yes. And I'm trying to stay with Kubota. The Bearcat, the name probably flew, but it's Kubota engine. So everything's Kubota.
I'm just surprised that for a used one, it costs $51,000. That's a.
Yeah, well, when you look at a new one, you'll know they're really, really high.
And I know which one you're talking about. They're the little ones, and I'm surprised they cost so much.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you're telling, so you're telling average you spend $100,000 each year to fix something, and this equipment.
Yeah, we're spending 120. I got two conflicting reports. I pulled it from two different sources. One was 100, one was 130. So I'm saying about 120,000 is what we're paying water and sewer specialists to fix curb boxes.
If you get this equipment, you're gonna have your own people to take care of those issues.
Yeah, no, our guys can do this, no problem.
It's a little bit high, but still I should keep going.
So is that where we got the sweepers from too?
No, the sweepers came from Clark Bushman, and we get our second sweeper, I believe, in like 2 days.
So, Mr. Chair, so you said we have a bigger one, so which does not go through the alley? Is this why we're trying to have a mini one? I used excavator before myself. I rented out from the Home Depot for my building a house, trenching, the ground.
Yeah,
So is that size of the one that?
The one we got is too big for the front yard, yeah, because we're doing work in the front yard and pulling out trees. We're gonna do more damage with that big machine out than this one. This one has got the tracks, so even if we're driving over lawns, this will do less damage than that other unit.
All right, let's vote.
Let's vote.
Councilman Al-Samiri.
No,
Councilman Mahmoud.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Why am I next? Why not so? It's Rafai, no, then.
I just
I
always
know.
mix them up.
It's okay, yes. I wanted
You
to.
want me to pick Rafai next?
No, you're okay. Yeah.
Councilman Musa.
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
No.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2023-117 approved.
Okay. The next one is Resolution 2023-118 to approve the purchase of employee safety windows for various city departments.
Motion?
Second.
Mr. Mayor, so the last meeting, we had one big resolution with all this stuff in it, and I think it was very confusing to everybody, and we thought that maybe if we brought it back and explained it a little bit differently, wrote it a little bit differently for you, and broke it down a bit, it would potentially pass, or at least be considered a little bit more carefully. This is the windows on the first floor for all the plexiglass. It's very cheap junk plexiglass we have there now. We got it from Home Depot, we screwed it in. It does not look good. It does not look professional. It was only meant to be very temporary. Our hope is to make it look professional.
And on a side note, talking to the employees, they feel unsafe with what's there. They've asked to have something similar to the treasurer's office. Now, it's not as.
Well, we have all those years, nothing happened, so they can't feel unsecure. That's not logical. I mean, we want to look the city nice. That's something different. But an employee feel unsecure. That's wrong garbage.
Actually, if I
Because
may,
people have been working here for many years, nothing happens.
Yes, sir.
we actually did council. We did not recently.
That means our
but-
police department not doing the right job. They're
Well,
right.
someone
in there.
jumped actually through the clerk's window and insulted the former clerk.
Wow.
So, yeah, it actually did happen. Now, granted, I'm at the front door now, so, no, I'm just kidding. So,
I mean,
but-
I never know, but it's to make it more professional, more professional looks. That would make sense. And
For as many windows as it's doing,
That's
it's.
of course, that I'm all for it. I mean, that's why I'm saying
it's,
yes. I'm gonna get pushback maybe, because only reason I want to see city looks nicer, I want to look the professional, because when you go to different city, if you go to Warren, their city hall much, compared to
Bigger city.
any of us. Go to Center Line, it's a small city, but their city looks spectacular, it's clean, nice, tiles, cozy.
We here 100% are trying to clean up the look and the feel here for our residents. When they visit City Hall, we want it to look professional, we want our residents to be able to be proud of their City Hall.
We don't want to be a second-class city than in Hamtramck. Everybody thinks it's a poor city, go junk. I don't want that looks. That's why I'm saying yes to everything. Be honest,
Okay.
nothing else.
So this will include the clerk's office, right?
This includes quite a bit. It clerk's office, it includes the DPS, it includes the building department, which is a huge window setup upstairs, if you see that.
So this costs 7,300. What is the next one? Same thing for the city building, city hall building?
No, that's a whole other story.
Exterior windows in the
Yeah.
building.
Because that's up to 750, that's a huge amount.
Well, that's, the one we're voting on now is just for the plexiglass
Yeah,
that
because
are
the
indoor
safety.
windows, inside windows,
Okay,
only
So-
plexiglass.
And this is done with a.
Are we gonna have some here too, or no?
No.
We did have them separating them.
I know.
No,
I'm saying
no,
the
over
front.
there.
Yeah, and this isn't done in the same glass as the Treasure, it's a
no
little
one throw
thinner, so
tomatoes?
it's not. If I did it with the same material as the Treasure, this bid would have been over $35,000 to do these offices. This is done with 1-inch plexiglass, so it looks like bulletproof. It's not bulletproof, but it's definitely gonna stop and slow down any decent attempt to try to hurt one of the employees or get through a window or
How
whatnot.
big did you say they were?
1 inch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, safety because
Are they
scared.
gonna have little
They
No,
got
no.
scared.
That's
feature
the.
things?
That's the
Yes.
6,400 is the glass, it brought it up to 7,300 to drill the 4-inch holes so they can hear each other and,
Because 1 inch is very heavy.
Yeah.
Nobody's carrying you.
It's already when
Nobody's carrying.
Councilman Al-Samiri comes to my window, you ready those like this to tuck underneath the.
So I actually should be able to hear people, because right
Yeah,
now
we
it's kind of difficult because
Yeah,
there's no
we are.
circles.
Yeah.
We live here in 6 Mile.
But remember, the DPS is open now,
You know.
whether they're gonna have a proxy.
So this one is just for the front window,
The windows you come to.
For all the
service
departments.
windows there.
Yeah.
7,000.
Mr. Chair,
I actually thought that was pretty inexpensive for what we're
Right.
getting.
How about all the corner inside in the chair? Isn't it gonna be changing?
Counters and what?
All the table and chair for all employees.
Councilman Samari saying, well,
Hey, you
sooner or
coming
later,
back
it's gonna
next?
be building
Yeah.
department wants it, and then sooner or later, you're gonna need it in your office, and then the entire city will have just bulletproof, windows.
No, I'm good.
Well,
Mr. Chair, I was just looking at the perspective from the residents walking in, and if we put plexiglasses and we are, putting barricades, like putting too many protections, and then they feel like you guys are on this side and we're on this side, and they're not, feel like they're welcome, putting it up windows, and
No.
now it's open. I feel like, they can talk to the employees one-on-one, close to each other, and then some of them are, as you know, it's a language barrier to the
Should be
hearing
able to
them.
hear people better with this setup because there is no holes currently in what we have. So we're constantly asking people to repeat themselves. With this, we're actually gonna have holes drilled in for where people speak, so we can actually be able to hear people.
But it's open now, right?
No,
we
we
don't
don't
have
we got all that
plexiglass.
cheap little.
Oh, okay, we're replacing those.
Plastic
So-
glass.
so you still have- we're
it's
changing the existing one.
inexpensive, it's not that expensive, but is it that necessary? Is it like that urgent? Do we have any?
It's not gonna, City Hall's not gonna fall, but, I mean, we're just trying to make it look better.
I'm just, we just
That's why I
trying to
raised
have
this
the
question.
police,
Yeah, I know.
guys, can we get involved in the discussion? We are lucky to have the police department next to you, right next to you. I mean, I don't think you should be worried.
There was nothing they could have done to stop the person that jumped over the clerk's window, so, I mean.
Well,
it
that
happened-
maybe
it
the
happened
former
so
clerk
fast.
wasn't doing well. I mean, our new clerk, nobody complains about you, so unless you are scared of swearing or something.
Oh, maybe one person complained about.
Mr. Mayor,
I'm pretty good with
Mr.
customers.
Mayor, if individual do something, at least he consider, right here the police office, police staff there. So this is the not too bad location, but it is, police is very close to the city clerk office, or the other clinic.
I prefer promise you, I won't get into any personal fights.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I lived next to the police department, I wouldn't worry about anything. And I'm still not worried, even though I'm at the end of the city. So, I don't know, it's up to the city council.
Are we ready to vote on this?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
go ahead.
Councilman Musa,
No.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri.
No.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-118, not approved.
Okay. Next one, and the last one.
Nope.
One more.
Oh, yeah, we have another.
Yeah, I got another 120.
There's a queue.
So, resolution 2023-119 to approve the purchase of windows for the city hall building.
I make a motion.
Second.
How much is the
Mr.
amount?
Mayor, this
Yeah.
is
It'll be
basically
beautiful.
a blanket purchase for
Mm.
windows for City Hall. We estimate that if we were to replace every window in City Hall now, it'd be between $500,000 to $750,000. But, I mean, frankly, no window supplier wants to come here and take the time to measure every window in City Hall for something that we're not gonna do right now, so we have a best guess based on there. Our intent is to replace the windows as truly needed. You know, the windows that aren't locking, the windows that aren't closing, the windows that basically let more wind in from being closed than not. And hopefully to do it on a regular basis as the DPS budget allows for it. You know, we're not gonna just do, you know, 100,000 worth of windows right now, but, you know, we may do a couple 10,000 worth to replace the bad ones. And then as necessary, we will hopefully continue to replace them out, and eventually over the next few years and the next few budgets, maybe we do them all.
I know there's an estimate, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know there's an estimate between 500 to 700,000.
It depends if we do a lot of the circle tops or the transoms, that's why there's a variance in there. I'm trying to find ways of saving the circle tops that we have because the window's below. And what I'm trying to do, because this, I looked at this being a multi-year project. This is gonna be something over many, many years. So I was trying to go with a commercial window that not just one contractor has particular to themselves, but a universal style aluminum commercial window that should, we bring on a different contractor at a later date to continue with the project, we can match. So we're not having a bunch of mismatched windows. Other than doing the clerk's office, I don't plan on doing any windows. It's just as a blanket, the city manager said, just so we can move forward. I was told to bring this back by a council member, to bring it back as a blanket, so that I'm not here 70 times trying to get an approval for windows, as we get a few bucks here and there to do some of this. Some of these could possibly fall into a grant as we're moving forward, I don't know.
So that's a multi-year project.
Oh,
you know, that-
by far, yes.
So,
I don't think we can train our people on this one.
yeah, I would, I mean, personally, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. We may decide to do all of them in 1 year, or it may take 5-6 years. So we don't know what's gonna happen after approving this. I mean, I rather approve each department, discuss it, you know, worth 20,000, 15,000, and get a chance to talk about the urgency and the, you know, if it's
Yes,
really
needed.
needed or not, rather than a decision to be taken without us knowing what's going on. I mean, not that, I'm sure you will fix, you know, as needed, but it's better for the city council to be notified about what's gonna happen and how much each project costs and how much each department costs. That's what I think personally. I know it's too much work for you to be here every time you need something, but, and for us too, but I don't know. That's
Mr.
what
Mayor,
I think.
just quick thing, it's gonna bring an amendment to this language that will approve, maybe, that's still up to everybody's discussion. Even if we approve, when you're doing it department by department, still mention to the council that this is what department we are doing it. So make sure council know aware of it, this is what getting done.
We can certainly notify mayor and council anytime.
I don't have a problem with that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I think if we can offer Councilman Samari to buy his building, it's a brand new building, the old Chapel Road. You know, it's crazy seeing this big amount for windows. You know, I'm expecting windows should not cost that much. How much windows are we referring to?
Hundreds of windows.
Well, I recap with the mayor, if we're able to work slowly.
Please,
with
next
each
time, we're gonna
department.
count it, a door and the drop ceiling, next time.
So if we could work slowly with each department by itself, at least that can easy out with the total amount of, of the budget. I think hitting us with this amount, I think it's a huge amount.
Well, we put some, like, we applied for some
Grants.
projects with the congressmen and some senators. Did we get any response about that? One of them was the city hall
They
building.
excluded government buildings.
Yeah, that one got voted.
I mean, you're talking about the state or the federal? Because
The last one, yeah, they won't let us. The year before they allowed it, then they killed that option.
that's
For
the
anything
state,
to do with
right?
city. That was coming from the state.
Because we talked to Congressman Shree, so that's from the federal.
Yeah, well, we're, at least the one, I don't know if it was Sri or the other one we applied for, they indicated that that wasn't gonna be happening, at least for the upgrades in City Hall. So there's other things still pending that we're waiting to hear back from, but I don't think that one's coming through. May I ask humbly, if council decides not to do this as a blanket, could we amend this to potentially, right now, do at least the clerk's office and possibly the as-needed ones in the courts?
Yeah, the courts will come out of the court building fund.
That's what I was gonna ask you, John, that some of this money is coming from the court funding too.
Correct, all
As
the,
in-
yeah, and I have a separate bid, separate bid I had here last time.
You talked about.
We don't need frames in the third floor, the frames are there, it's just the glazing unit. So those are basically a repair and maintenance item, some of them are cracked, some of you can stick your hand right outside. The windows have shifted that much and it's just open.
There's a few that we have some security concerns.
And
It's
then,
an old building, we need to be
you-
maintained.
So you're asking to make an amendment to this, right? So where to do the clerk's
Unless
office?
council
I
wants to
think
bless it as a whole.
that's the best option, to do an amendment and do it the ones that we needed to do now and
Yeah,
move on, and then
the
we'll come
clerks is
back.
important because of the air conditioning.
Sure. So I make a motion to make an amendment or what?
So can we know which department that needs them the most?
Clerk's office.
So clerk is one of them. Which
So
other?
he's asking for that
Court
one now
building.
only.
So I'm saying, yes, the clerk's office?
Right now, the top of my list is the clerk's office, for a myriad of reasons that I don't really want to get into at the council meeting.
Sure.
But the other one, I had requested the court because I know that there's some seriously bad windows in the court, and the judge was requesting it. I can't speak to the court other than what I was told, because I don't go into the court, but my top priority right now is the clerks. But as we identify other ones, we can bring back.
Why don't make it in the only, it's gonna be only the clerk office, just a clerk office. You speak for the whole place and we say they have clerk office, they need to change.
Okay.
Why didn't make it separate?
Mr. Chair, can I amend this to just to be the clerks?
That's what we said.
And then the court could do, because the court's gonna pay for it.
It's mentioned in the
Yeah.
overview, just the
Yeah, so
clerks
court
too.
and both,
And
maybe,
then-
court
yeah.
paying for their own money.
And I will amend that only the clerk's office and the court.
And the court.
I'll second.
Okay, and then we had it before and we rejected it, so there was an estimate for it before, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He discussed it, we.
Well, there was an estimate for the court, but
For the clerk.
for the clerk, no, it was the clerk and other offices.
Just a
it was
clerk
combined.
office, just a clerk office.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
And there was some unit pricing, because a lot of these windows are the same, so that's how I gathered the bids, is when I called the different contractors to come out and give them the unit size, found out all commercial windows are based off of square inches, so I was able to get the best contractor based off that price. I got 3 written bids for the windows for this building.
Yeah, let's try to do the clerk's office so no one can come in and bother Rana from the window.
Do we have to have small windows, or we can make some, like, big windows that looks outside, better view for the.
The windows that I have in mind are a fixed panel on the top 3/4 and a hopper, what they call a hopper window on the bottom. So it hops out, so if it's raining and the window's left open, you're not getting rain inside the building.
That's it. All right.
No bay windows?
my walkout days.
Yeah, that would be
No, Ron, we're not
awesome.
getting to
This
election.
is the all window.
Bay
No, no,
windows.
this is the all window for outside.
All
The
right.
outside windows, these
Yeah.
are for the outside windows, yes.
She doesn't want you to peek, Councilman.
Okay, so we are voting on the amendment to only do clerks and courts windows.
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, the motion to only allow clerk and court windows to be, replaced, thank you.
Okay, so that's the amendment. Now we vote on the amended
Resolution.
resolution.
I need a motion to amend on the, to vote on the amended
I
resolution.
motion.
Second.
No, that wasn't it. No, it. Vote again.
Just one moment, there's a lot of voting in this meeting, so.
Don't call up tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was.
The motion by Rafai and second by Mr. Sumari.
Okay, Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Switched up.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, amended resolution 2023-119 approved.
Okay, thank you.
I think I'm done now.
All right.
Yes. Thank you, John, for being patient.
All right. And the last one is the added
Drum roll.
resolution 2023-120, approving MOU between the Michigan Department of Treasury and the City of Hamtramck.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, so the Michigan Department of Treasury often supports our endeavors here in the
I
city of
second it.
in an attempt to help us out whenever they can. This one specifically, I made a request to extend our grant writing services, and they agreed. They only gave us, what was the last amount they gave us in there? A couple tens of thousands, like 20,000? And I asked for twice that this time, and they obliged us. So it's free money to help us write more grants.
Anything for free money.
Take it, windows. This will offset the windows a little.
Or an excavator.
You should have
No,
asked
no.
for triple that amount.
I'm not done asking.
That's more we can ask.
All right, get the
Okay.
vote, please.
All right, let's go.
Ready?
Yeah.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-120 approved.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're done with the new business and now we move to the reports. It's getting too late, I'm not gonna say much. I just wanna take this opportunity and thank you all for staying with us and for coming to this meeting. And everything that's been discussed here, we'll try to address that and take actions, regarding public comments and other stuff. I want to take this opportunity also to congratulate again Hamtramck FC on their victory and bringing back home the trophy and the championship from Tennessee. I was invited to go to that tournament, but I couldn't make it. But I was watching the games, by the way, especially the final. And I will make sure to be tomorrow at their event at 6 o'clock, and everybody's invited. We'll start in the big park in front of the big Haramain, the new Haramain. And we asked for some, accommodations and some help from the police department to accompany the parade. And I also talked to the organizers to educate the people to drive slowly, not to cause any trouble, and to be to follow the rules, basically. And hopefully it's going to be a peaceful parade to celebrate their victory, and then there will be dinner at Azal Hall, is it? Azal Hall at 7 o'clock. Everyone is invited. That's basically all. I don't remember what I did in the past 2 weeks. Too many events. Usually in this report we are supposed to address people and say what did we do over the past 2 weeks. I did so much that I can't remember. So that's it. Mayor Pro Tem, I'm sorry? Yeah, I know. Mayor Pro Tem is not here, so no report for him. City Council, any one of you can go ahead and if you have anything to say.
No, sir.
I just want to say quick, Mr. Mayor, thank you to city manager to bring some, announce some community what is called? I'm too long night, I'm losing my word too.
Activities.
Not the activities, like all those action coming up, to what's getting done, because this is what community looking for. They always think that they're paying taxes and not getting enough anything, and people are looking at their timing. The summer is almost getting over and nothing getting done. So please push all those things that I mentioned. Make sure people see that things we are working on. And I hope you'll come up with some good ideas and announcement next meeting as well. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No, sir.
Yeah.
You want to say
Mr. Mayor,
something?
yes.
Okay, go.
Thank you for the people who made the victory, and I hope I can join the parade tomorrow. Two things I'd like to bring in the front. Residents coming from 271 Poland Street. Everybody like to know, single family house, paying for $6,900 taxes. Unbelievable. I can't afford it either. So please, the people who made the subcommittee start working with those things, those issues. Another thing, I have another friend of mine, lives in 1174 Subaski. He is remodeling his second floor. A lot of violations come up there. Max is helping him also a little bit. But now, one by one, they tell him to fix this, street, front of the street, also in this part, he has to sidewalk. He has to fix those things. Those people want to sell the house and live from the city. It look like we are pressuring them to move from there. I suggest, and he bring, before the meeting, he tried to speak to those councils, he meet Max, I say, so leave some document to Max, let me see what we can do. I'm urging to people and who are working for us and the community inside the city hall, don't harass the people, try to work with them. And especially everywhere the tax is skyrocketing, and I'm shocked. I'm paying high taxes, but the tax the single family paying for this is unbelievable. People live in Sterling and other places, Troy, he pays $6,500 big house, and a small house, not even 1,100 square feet, paying for $6,908.73. Please, we have to do something there. And we are in Wayne County, Grosse Pointe is Wayne County. This is the time to talk to the people in Wayne County, meet their accessory department and talk to them how your taxes is a little bit lower than our Hamtramck. Should we go that much far, or our department going to do something for us, do something for our community?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, city manager, do you have anything to say?
I've said enough tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, then we move back to the public comments.
Thank you. The Louis Rabels? No? Okay. Lynn Blasey?
Hi, Mayor and Council, I'm also tired, so I just have a couple notes. Regarding Resolution 2023-104 and the discussion about the sending out of consent forms, I do have a concern that if we're collecting consent forms a considerable amount of time before we're actually replacing service lines, that by the time the service line replacements happen, if we're getting consent forms from the whole city at once, the homes might have changed hands, people forget, they don't understand, like, you know, if it's 2 years later and then someone comes and tears up their yard. I just have a concern about that, the timeline between collecting consent forms and the actual work that's gonna be done related to the consent forms.
Mr. Mayor, just real quick, I know it
Yeah.
didn't time much, but we actually require like their phone numbers and to talk to those people before we actually get to their house anyway, so even if they're stale and we can't get through, then we'll have to do it again. But if we have the bulk of them in a good number, we're good to go.
Do we have people that speak the language to make sure they understand what's happening?
To the best of our abilities, yes. I mean, we have internal people, or some of our interns are going out that are bilingual as well. And then of course, within City Hall, we have a ton of people that speak various languages as well, so.
Okay, thank you. And then I also just have a concern about the selection process for the proclamations that are read. There was no 4th of July proclamation read this year, and other proclamations that aren't, it's just, there's a discrepancy between what is actually put on the agenda and things that have traditionally gone on the agendas in the past. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Billmeyer? Closing out the show.
All right. Sorry about the sound system. I offered to help fix it, and I haven't come over here to do it. With Greg and I are going to try to find a better way, because some people come up here to speak, you can't hear back here at all.
That's what happens.
Yeah, so we'll find a solution. In the meantime, I think that our city manager just violated the council rules. You're not supposed to talk back and forth to the commenter. You're supposed to wait till we're done and then answer. I just passed out that notice today. It's a rule that, that's how silly the rules are, folks. I mean, we really don't need these rules. Just talking, that's most appropriate. That was, I support what you did. But there's rules that say you can only talk after public has spoken, and then you have up to 2 minutes, I think, or something like that. So you're gonna follow the rules, or you're gonna change the rules, or does it matter? So remember when we had no glass protection at all anywhere in these grocery stores and gas stations and stuff, when the guy was just there and you gave him the money and whatever like that? And life has changed. Maybe you aren't old enough. Do you remember that, when there was no glass at all? When people just, the banks, there was no glass in the banks? You just walked up to the teller and there they were, no glass. Life has changed in the US. Okay. I'd like to commend our council member Khalil, who has made up for his months that he was away from here, and one evening tonight, I think you obviously had a lot to say, and you studied up on it, and I'm really impressed with what you did today. I hope you all learn from that, because he's definitely involved in these issues, and I appreciate that. You asked the right questions. So I think we have to oppose gentrification, is what I was saying earlier. If you understand economics, you'll know why the taxes are high. You have to, I'm not an economics major or nothing, but you can study this to find out why we're paying higher taxes. And can I ask for another minute?
Yes.
Okay. So here's one way to oppose gentrification. You create alliances among residents, businesses, and activists. You pass rent control laws. You create affordable housing. You create community land trusts. You set up policies that either reduce or freeze property taxes to protect long-time residents here. You can do that. You have the power to do that. Have you looked into how to stop gentrification? Please, look into that. You can do that. 30 seconds. The other thing is oppose privatization. That's what happened years ago with our financial managers came here and sold all our public property and privatized everything. And the city always loses when you privatize. So I'm so glad that we're getting back to finding the right way to do things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor, that's all for public comment.
Okay, thank you, and we have a closed session, and then we will be back to.
I need a motion.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All right, close.
No. 10:30, are we taking a 5-minute break?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we just.
We usually have some tea and coffee here.
It's about. No, I'm gonna talk to you now. I'll give you.